Time now for the Coyote pregame show, presented by Sanford Health. Here for all, here for good.
The college football season has hit the home stretch, and November is opening with a bang at the Dakota Dome. A clash of the flagships today as 8th-ranked North Dakota visits South Dakota on Native American Heritage Day in Vermilion. Hello, and how is everybody doing? Alongside Andre Fields, I am Jay Elson. And Andre, as you well know, some games just mean more, especially those that have more than 100 years of history. And UND, USD certainly qualifies there.
Yeah, they do. They used to play for the Sitting Bull Trophy, which was a traveling trophy. You only get traveling trophies when there's a huge rivalry between the two teams. And 30 years ago, a highly ranked UND team came into the Dome and lost to USD 35-0. We'll see what happens today.
All right, well, UND is one of the best stories in the FCS this year. Picked 7th in the preseason poll. The Fighting Hawks have soared under first-year head coach Eric Schmidt. Currently 6-2 overall and 4-0 in the Valley after their win last week against Indiana State.
And should be 8-0. A controversial loss at Kansas State and a 1-point loss at Montana. This is a very, very good football team.
As for South Dakota, the situation is a little more dire. The Coyotes saw their 11-game home winning streak come to an end last week at the hands of Illinois State, and that means everything from here on out is a must-win for Travis Johansson's team.
That's playing football in late October, November. It's always, you know, kind of the crux of your season, whether you're playing to get in, whether you're playing for seeding, whether you're playing for home field. Like, there's always something there that really heightens the gravity of the game and your team's ability to digest that and still play, you know, the executed level of football you need to win. So, yeah, there's no doubt our margin for error has become smaller. We're playing to get in. We all understand that.
Yeah, bottom line, Andre, it all starts with UND. You can't win them all if you don't get this one.
Yeah, and we talked last week about how this is playoff football for them. Well, you get a second chance at playoff football this week. And again, highly, highly good opponent in a highly, highly intense atmosphere. You got to get it done if you're USD, if you want to keep the season rolling.
All right, stay tuned. UND and USD meeting 103 all time kicks off next. But first, how about another tailgate tip from our friends at Build Your Base? All right, it is tailgate. And you are looking live inside the Dakota Dome as we get set for kickoff between North Dakota and South Dakota today, meeting 103 all time in this long-standing rivalry between the two flagship institutions in the Dakotas. North Dakota comes in number 8 in the country under first-year head coach Eric Schmidt. 6-2 overall, 4-0 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. The Coyotes, under their first-year head coach Travis Johansson, they're 5-4 and 3-2 in the conference. USD did win the opening coin toss, deferred its option to the second half. So North Dakota and its high-powered offense will get the football first here today. Zeke Mata on to kick it away for South Dakota. Avery Scott, one of the 2 deep men for North Dakota. They'll take it at their own 2. This is Charles Langama now, one of the bright spots of the future. Big shot there. Bo Ryan and Langama met head-to-head right around the 22-yard line, and it looks like Ryan got the worst end of that deal.
He did. I mean, he came in missile. You heard my reaction to it, but obviously slightly concussed here. Bang! Woof! That's good stuff, but it's not good when you're on the turf. So hopefully that young man can get up and walk off. He's sitting up now, so that's a good sign. But man, that's a way to. I guess that's the kind of start you would expect between these two teams in this type of an environment, a playoff-like atmosphere for both squads.
Obviously, all the attention right now on Bo Ryan, South Dakota's reserve linebacker. 5'11", 220 pounds, out of Omaha, Nebraska, played at Westside High School. Big special teams guy for South Dakota. We're going to step away while they tend to the injured Coyote down on the field. Back with first quarter action right after this.
At that.
Bo Ryan, he was able to get to his feet and jog off to the USD sideline under his own power, so that's good news. But now Jerry Kaminsky and the North Dakota offense takes the field for the first time today. What a job this young man has done in his first season as the starting quarterback for North Dakota. 1,590 yards passing, 22 touchdowns through the air, and just 2 interceptions. Kaminsky can hurt you with his feet, though, and he shows it right there.
And Coach Schmidt talked about having conversations with him about certain situations where he's not going to slide. Like, go ahead first and get that. You can run the ball, get us those yards. So you see it right there. Not afraid to put his head down and get forward for the first down.
Starting offense brought to you by Dakota Bank for North Dakota. The 701 Moving Company headlines things. They've been doing a great job. This North Dakota offense runs it as well as anybody in the country right now, or among the best in the country anyways. Kaminsky goes back to pass on first down, under pressure from Caden Crawford. Now flushing out. Chris Dixon giving chase. Throw is back behind. The catch is made. Did he get a foot down? What an effort, though. Nate DeMontenac came back shoulder, Andre, hauled that football in. But the officials say he did not get a foot down in bounds. Ooh, I don't know. Oh,
yeah,
okay, so you see the ball move there as he hits. He did get a foot down.
Yep.
If that bobble doesn't happen, I think that's a catch.
Yep, agreed. You saw the back judge or the side judge in the back that was coming in giving the bobble signal.
So Caden Dennis now in motion. They'll get off to, or excuse me, Kaminsky. Great fake, got me on that one. Turns it upfield, and Kaminsky cut down at about the 41.5-yard line as we take a look now at the starting defensive unit for South Dakota. Again, brought to you by Dakota Bank. Mikey Munn, a standout at the quarterback position, just a redshirt freshman, among the leaders in passes broken up this season with 7. Gabe Hardman gets the start at middle linebacker today. Did not get to start last week's game. He missed the first half due.
Illegal substitution, 12-minute formation, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
So an illegal substitution whistle or flag there on North Dakota. We go back to that starting defense quickly for South Dakota. Again, Gabe Hardman getting the start at middle linebacker today. Missed the first half last week against Illinois State due to a targeting ejection that he got late in the game at Northern Iowa. Nate Ewell's been playing really good at the linebacker spot as well. As Kaminsky back to pass again, surveys the scene, finds Seidel all alone out of the backfield, takes a big shot there along the sideline from Niall Dickel, and he's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down.
Yeah, and right now North Dakota's doing a really good job of protecting Kaminsky. He's standing back in the pocket. There's pretty decent coverage, but it's allowing Kaminsky to go from check to check to check and find the open guys. That's a long. You're asking your secondary to cover for a long time right now, Yotes. Next series are going to have to find a way to bring some extra pressure.
So South Dakota gets a stop on its first defensive possession. Luke Silvernail on to punt it away for North Dakota. Jack Martin standing back at his own 10-yard line for South Dakota. Low line drive kick. Martins maybe ran up too aggressively on that one, had to backtrack a bit. Tumbles down but makes the fair catch at about the 14-yard line. So that's where South Dakota will start with the football for the first time today under the direction of their redshirt senior quarterback Aiden Bauman, the veteran, making his 42nd career start here today. Bauman 57.3% completion so far this year, but much better of late. 1,512 yards through the air, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but it's been a while since he's given the ball away as they go to LJ Phillips on the ground, steps through a tackle as he keeps those legs driving forward. Gain of a couple of yards, maybe 3 on the play from LJ Phillips. Here's a look at the offensive line now for South Dakota. Managed to stay mostly healthy on the year, although Brock Wolf did miss a game due to a concussion. That moved Jacob Arop into the starting right tackle spot, and then bumped Wolf on his return into right guard. He replaced the injured Adrian Hawkins for the first time last week. 2nd and 7. Bauman off the play fake, wants to take a shot, looking deep. Lorenzo Feder is there, and he's got the feet underneath it. Couple of flags down on the play, so we'll see what that is all about. But Feder, for the time being, has South Dakota set up inside of North Dakota territory at the 40-yard line.
Set up by good protection up front. Bauman able to allow Feder to get into the route. Deep would throw a pretty great ball. I think this is going to be PI on the defense, as there was some grabbing and holding at the top of the play, which didn't obviously affect Feder's ability to go and make the catch.
That is one thing for Feder all year, and it is going to be a pass interference call against North Dakota. Feder leading the Valley.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Penalty goes against the true freshman quarterback Grant Nolan, but it's declined. Another look at that connection between Aiden Bauman and Lorenzo Feder here.
Yeah, you can see at the top of the route here, he's kind of pulling and grabbing, trying to get himself back into position because Feder had a step, and Feder able to locate and complete the catch.
Feder leading the Valley in yards per catch, 22.1 per grab so far this year. Little wildcat as they go to LJ Phillips, and he surges ahead into inside rather, the 40-yard line of North Dakota, the 38-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4 as we look at the defense now for North Dakota. And this has been an outstanding unit for Eric Schmidt. And of course, that is his cup of tea, right? He's a defensive guy, was a defensive coordinator at San Diego State last year before coming back to his alma mater for the 3rd stint in his coaching career. But he switched them to a 4-2-5 base defense from the traditional 3-4 at North Dakota. It's worked out very well. Bauman, though, finds the tight end, Jesse Miller. Found a soft spot in that coverage, and Miller's down to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, just a zone coverage here by the Hawks. And Miller's able to find a little area between the linebackers, sit down and give a target for Bauman to hit. And they get the first down. You talk about that 4-2-5, Jay. It's essentially kind of a 3-4-ish when you look at it, because the 4th player that's on the D line is more of a rover type. He's kind of an outside backer, but he's always on the line of scrimmage. But he'll go from side to side and kind of give them different looks. It also can confuse defenses sometimes when they bring extra bodies up to the line of scrimmage.
Bauman on 1st and 10, gives it off. Phillips weaves his way through the line of scrimmage down to the 22-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4.
That's a great vision here by L.J. Phillips. You see Lance Rucker came off the edge untouched and was in the backfield. Phillips able to see him immediately, put his foot in the ground on that turf and make him miss and still get positive yards. It's great vision there by L.J. Phillips.
South Dakota trying to continue a trend that they have had for much of the season. That's scoring on their opening possession. Put a lot of good opening drive together this season. It's been the rest of the game where they've found some struggles in terms of consistency. Phillips cut down inside the 15-yard line. That'll be a first down at the North Dakota 11.
And here's another example of great vision here, able to see the cutback lane. You see everything's flowing to the left. There's a small hole there back to the right side after a good setup block there by the right tackle, Rock Wolf. And L.J. Phillips finds it, exploits it, and is probably a shoestring tackle away from scoring a touchdown.
So it'll be 1st and 10. South Dakota can get a first down at the 1-yard line. As they go back to another look out of that wild card. They split Aiden Bauman out wide to the left. And North Dakota wants to talk about it. They're going to burn a timeout here with 8:59 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, they actually ran a guy on late and ended up with 12 on the field. And I think they just were confused about what call they were in. So better than to take that penalty, go ahead and burn the timeout and make sure everybody's on the same page. Go back to L.J. Phillips, Jay, the ability to play physical and make guys miss with vision makes him one of the best backs in the Valley.
We're talking about long-standing rivalry between these two teams, meeting 103 all-time. UND in command overall, 64-33-5, with 25-19-2 in Vermillion. USD, though, has won the last 2 against the Fighting Hawks, including a thriller last year in Grand Forks, 42-36. That back in mid-November. South Dakota trying to strike first to their home field here today. 1st and 10 at the Fighting Hawks 11-yard line. L.J. Phillips lines up right of Aiden Bauman. He'll bring the tight end Jesse Miller in motion. Bauman back to throw. Flushed out of the pocket. Being chased. Vig is there for North Dakota. And Bauman just throws it away out of the back of the end zone.
Smart play, nothing there. There was nobody that was coming open across the middle. He was kind of forced to only look at one half of the field where he's being forced out to his left. So smart play there by Bauman just to throw it away on first down and play out the rest of the series.
That was the field edge. Caden Vig giving chase there. Number 13, sophomore to Halleck, Minnesota. Team high 4.5 sacks coming in. Hunting early here in Vermillion today. Forces an incompletion, and it's 2nd and 10. Back to that Wildcat lineup, and now it's going to be a false start. Right side, Caden Fry, the tight end, moved early.
False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
So it is Fry, the redshirt freshman tight end out of Red Cloud, Nebraska. Has seen his playing time increase a little bit here in recent weeks due to an injury to Zach Whitty. Jesse Miller, it's a good, talented tight end group overall for South Dakota, but it's generally very young. A lot of big bodies, though, the future is bright in that particular room here at South Dakota.
Yeah, it is, and they've all seen a lot of minutes too, so they have some experience in there to go with that youth.
Back to Phillips on 2nd and 15. He runs into the back of Fry, somehow keeps his feet. Phillips lunges forward down to the 10. Boy, he did well to get anything there, Andre, let alone 6 yards.
Yeah, and earlier in the week, Coach Smith from the Fighting Hawks talked about how USD's offense was really good at not putting themselves in negative plays, which means losing yardage and putting yourself behind the sticks. Here, the Hawks had a chance to get them behind, but LJ Phillips, with great individual effort, able to get back to the line of scrimmage at least.
That was Emmanuel Olugbaju had a chance at a big number 88, had both hands around Phillips, and he just shed off the big fella and got 6 yards on the play. Bauman now on 3rd down. Pressure coming up the middle. Bauman is going to be ripped down back at the 20-yard line. This might be a horse collar, Andre, as flags come in from both the center judge and the referee there on the tackle.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle on the defense, number 13. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
Well, that's a big break for South Dakota. It looks like you're going to have to settle for 3, and now you get a fresh hope.
And if you're in the fight, it's rough because you're the defender, you're being blocked, you're just trying to reach out and grab something. And once you get that something, you can't let it go because you don't want them to escape out of the pocket. Unfortunately, it's inside the shoulder pad. You pull them down, and they got to make the call. So a tough break there for the Fighting Hawks.
That was Caden Vig, the guy we just spoke of, has the team high in sacks with 4.5 on the year. Almost had another, but instead it's a big penalty and a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. LJ Phillips back into that Wildcat formation. Not much there off the left side. Jesse Miller, the tight end, was kind of in a fullback mode there, trying to provide something on the lead, and it just wasn't happening. North Dakota swallowed it up quickly.
And usually in those situations, I mean, you just have to make sure you get really good blocking because the defenders assume they're going to run the ball, right? And so you're going to get everybody flying to the line of scrimmage, closing up those gaps. And in this case, they were able to do that for no gain.
Kaiwan Vengrowski got in there to cut down Phillips for a loss of a yard, and it's 2nd and goal now from the 6. Phillips tries to get the edge, surging forward. Now he's backed up to about the 2-yard line. He looked there once he turned that corner, Andre, like he might have a shot at the end zone, and North Dakota just bowed up and pushed him back.
Yeah, well, he was dragging Zach Lewis,
Number
unfortunately, into the end zone.
North Dakota must sit out one play due to his helmet coming off.
And then the cavalry was able to quickly get there right at the 1-yard line and push him back. Otherwise, that would have probably been a touchdown. So it's a good job of getting extra bodies to the ball and keeping the Coyotes out of the end zone.
So that's the starting defensive tackle, Montre Samuels Parker, that has to leave the field for a play because his helmet came off. Coyotes back to the ground on 3rd and goal. Phillips not going to get there. He stood up at the 1, and it'll be 4th and goal for South Dakota.
Yes, let's see what they do here. LJ Phillips here with two separate plays here where you're getting quick surges where you think, oh, well, he's going to get it with second effort. But no, the door is shut by the Hawks defense right there at the goal line. They keep them out, and it looks like we're set up for 4th and goal with the offense on the field.
Lance Rucker made first contact that time for North Dakota, and then, as you said earlier, the cavalry got home from there to stop Phillips on 4th and goal. Up the middle he goes. Phillips leaning forward at the goal line. No signal yet. And they are going to say he's short. I believe they're going to say he's short.
Yeah, there's no hands up, so you got to at this point, right? You got to say short. Maybe they'll take a look at it just to be sure, but the call on the field is going to be a 4th down stand inside the 2-yard line by the Fighting Hawks.
Boy, Phillips right there. It's tough. This will be your best chance to maybe see it if the head linesman didn't stand right in front of it. Going to be tough to overturn it based on what we saw there. Yep. Stepping away, still scoreless in Vermillion.
Lucky for us, life is full.
Still scoreless after a goal line stand for North Dakota. Here is how it happened on 4th and goal from the 1, L.J. Phillips. That's the best look we have there. Boy, I tell you what, that's close. They said he was short, but nothing there definitive to overturn what the call was on the field. But North Dakota takes over inside now, its own 1-yard line. Kaminsky in the pistol formation with Seidel behind him. Last minute instructions from the quarterback now, and Kaminsky takes the snap. He'll keep it right straight forward, and he's not got anywhere to go there. Gabe Hardman there to meet the quarterback. Might have gotten a half a yard.
Everybody sold out to the run on this one. They just knew it was going to be a run. If it hadn't been a play action pass, they'd have had something going. Because everybody's at the line of scrimmage for USD on that particular play.
Going to give credit for Nate Ewell, too. He was in on the stop as well. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Man-to-man looks like on the outsides, too.
Seidel gets it there, finds a little bit of a seam. And a little bit of extra breathing room now for North Dakota. He's out to the 7.
Yeah, that's what you need. Give yourselves a little bit of space. You're still on schedule as far as 3rd and short is concerned. So now you can open up the playbook a little bit more, knowing that you got a little bit of room. Obviously, you're still going to be set up close to the end zone, so you got to be careful if you're Kaminsky, but you get a little bit more breathing room.
So 3rd and 4. Needs the 10-yard line. About the 11-yard line, rather, for North Dakota. Kaminsky. Flags come in before the snap. Looks like this is going to go against North Dakota again.
False start. Offense number 62. Half the distance to the goal. It remains 3rd down.
So Ben Bucks to the center. Flagged for that one. We saw an illegal substitution call against the Fighting Hawks on their first drive, and now a false start here. Pushing it from 3rd and 4 to now 3rd and 9 for UND.
And meaning that you're gonna take this snap in the end zone as well. So you have to avoid a sack or a holding call.
And keep it on the ground with Seidel, and the Coyotes do a good job smelling it out. There is Niall Dickel again, ripping the running back down to the turf. And for the 2nd straight possession to start the afternoon, the Fighting Hawks will have to punt it away.
Well, we talked off air. You got 2 defensive head coaches in this ball game, and so far these defenses have made some big plays, really shutting things down offensively on both sides of the ball. So buckle in, everyone. We might be in for a low-scoring affair here.
Silverdale all the way back. Just a little bit of red between his heels in the back of the end zone here. Coyotes block it through the back of the end zone. That's a freshman, Jaden Brown, off the edge, untouched, Andre. It'll be a safety against North Dakota on the block punt.
What a play by Jaden Brown. As you mentioned, no one picks him up. He comes off the edge. Not even the second 3
Timeout on the field.
Personal protectors go and get a hand on him, and he's able to come out and make a huge special teams play for the Coyotes.
How about the young guy here coming in a big spot and making the first big play of the day? Jaden Brown, the punt block, and it's 2-0 South Dakota. That was just before the break. Jaden Brown, the true freshman, off the edge to block the punt from Luke Silverdale. And now a free kick situation here for North Dakota, which finds itself down 2-0. It'll be Kenton Loffman kicking it away for the Fighting Hawks. Braden White and Mikey Munn both back deep for South Dakota. Loffman approaches. Very returnable opportunity here for Braden White. Showed some juice in this part of the game last week, and there he goes again. Switches heads, shakes off a defender, and White finally brought down out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Massive special teams plays back-to-back now for South Dakota.
Yep, and you got to play all three phases if you're going to win games. Offense, defense, and special teams right now. USD obviously with the upper hand in that category. Great blocking here. I mean, that's just good, solid blocking. He's untouched and really unbothered until he gets into Hawks territory.
Well, remember, White had a couple of big returns last week, including the opening kickoff against Illinois State. Both, though, were nullified due to penalty. This time, no flags on the field, and South Dakota will take over 1st and 10 at the North Dakota 23-yard line. They'll give it off to Phillips. Turns right, finds some space over there, and now he drags the defender with him. Just shy of the first down marker is L.J. Phillips. But a nice carry on first down.
This is what you've seen out of USD often, where they'll slide the protection to the left to try to create a cutback lane. What they're hoping is that they do get LJ to cut back, and it's a one-on-one. See if they can make that one guy miss, and then it's a lot of space there. And so far, LJ's finding that cutback and having some success.
Phillips already 10 carries in this quarter, 41 yards, gets a break now. Carson Fletcher will try to get this first down, the true freshman. Kept his feet long enough, Andre, and I think the second effort got that first down as he tumbled forward.
Yeah, Devereaux right in the hole with the solid tackle. Once he made contact, boom, goes right down. Looks like he's able to fall forward and still pick up the first, but that's a good, solid open field tackle by Michael Devereaux, the linebacker.
Devereaux transferred from Old Dominion. Eric Schmidt, though, working with a lot of guys that were in the program last year. This is a team that finished 5-7 a year ago. And boom, they're right up at the top of the valley with the same guys they had a year ago. But he did add a couple of pieces through the portal that have been very valuable to them as well. Bauman looking for the tight end, and it's broken up. Zach Whitty, who's playing in his first game back in the last couple of weeks after an ankle injury at Indiana State. Can't hang on here. Good hit from the backside. Delivered by Avery Scott to break it up.
Yeah, it was a little high, but not anything unusual. Whitty usually would bring that one in, but ball kind of slips through his hands, bounces around a little bit, and luckily for Coyote fans, it hits the turf.
So it is 2nd and 10 now. Pistol formation here for Bauman. Ball at the 13-yard line of North Dakota. There's Whitty, the tight end, in motion. Turns, hands it off to Phillips. Guy came swooping in there. Jai Martin, the free safety, tried to trip Phillips up in the backfield. He simply stepped away from him. Managed to get forward for about 5 yards.
Yeah, again, showing you that versatility of being a complete back. And those complete backs make guys miss, or when they get hit, they still fall forward to get 1 or 2 extra yards. It's that yards after contact. Phillips is one of the better players in the Valley, in the nation, actually, even at that.
Eric Schmidt looking on now as Coyotes face 3rd and 5 from the 8-yard line. Need to get it down to the 3 as Fry, the tight end, in motion. Backside. There is Miller. Turns it up. Miller toward the end zone, and he's going to be shy of the pylon. They're going to say he got the 1-yard line. Maybe the 2. It's hard to tell on that near side of the field.
Yeah, one
far side looks like it's closer to the 2-yard line.
But 2 refs were over there, and one was at the 1 and one was at the 2.
Oh, I don't know. One looks like closer based on that review. But Miller, who had his first career touchdown catch last week, picks up a big 3rd down there to give the Coyotes a 1st and goal at the 2. But remember, North Dakota just got a goal line stand on the opening possession. And the Coyotes come back out in that Wildcat. We've seen a lot of that in this first quarter. Phillips tried to go up top. And a little bit of help from the backside there from Carson Fletcher. Almost got him into the end zone.
The ref hadn't blown the whistle yet, so the play was still going, and Carson Fletcher's, doing the Reggie Bush push. It almost worked, but they stopped the forward momentum here now inside the 1 yard line, it looks like. Tries to go up top, nothing doing there. He really didn't even get off the ground good. I think that was more of a late decision that he thought of doing, and he was already dead in the water at that point.
I think he ran right into the shoulder of Zach Whitty, as a matter of fact, and that stopped it right in its place. But they do give Phillips a yard, so it'll be 2nd and goal from the 1. Coyotes, though, content to run out the clock here in this first quarter. It was an impressive 15 minutes for USD. Score is minimal, 2-0 on the punt block from Jaden Brown, but the Coyotes in business to start the second when we return.
Here,
South Dakota on top of 8th-ranked North Dakota. Look at the numbers, Andre. Coyotes outgaining the Fighting Hawks 110-32 after 15 minutes, and in business here to start the second quarter, facing 2nd and goal from the UND 1 yard line. Fighting Hawks trying to get a 2nd straight goal line stand to start the day. Bauman takes the snap, give us to Phillips, met at the line, but this time he's into the end zone. Touchdown, South Dakota.
Yeah, why not go back to regular run plays rather than Wildcats is trying to be a little bit deceptive. Just run it the way you've been doing. And LJ Phillips, when you got that guy in the backfield, you know he's going to fall forward for at least 1 or 2 yards. And if that's all you need, you got a touchdown. Nothing fancy here, just right off the left side. And LJ Phillips absorbs the contact but falls forward into the paint.
So Will Leyland now on for the extra point. Out of the hold of his punter, Tyler Ebel. And Leyland has been automatic in that department, and he continues it here. So South Dakota into the end zone for the first time today. LJ Phillips for the 12th time this season. And South Dakota leads North Dakota 9-0 early second quarter. A couple of impressive drives to start. This time South Dakota gets into the end zone. It started on the free kick return here from Braden White. Remember, this followed the punt block for a safety from Jaden Brown. White set him up in great field position. And then L.J. Phillips caps it off with a 1-yard plunge, his 12th rushing touchdown of the season to make it 9-0 South Dakota with 14:55 to play in the first half.
Special teams playing a role early here. Didn't really expect that piece of it, but again, that's part of your game plan. You have to execute in that as well if you want to win ball games. Right now, USD capitalized on 2 special teams plays, even though the Fighting Hawks defense has played very, very well here to start.
So Mata boots it into the end zone, and North Dakota will take the touchback, bring it out to their own 25-yard line, and start with it there. But Jerry Kaminsky hasn't had much of a chance to do a lot of work so far. The defense for South Dakota has been outstanding through its first 2 opportunities on the field. But get this, so far we've played 15 minutes and 5 seconds. South Dakota's had the football for 10 minutes and 42 of that.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats to see the time of possession. You're right, Kaminsky just hasn't been on the field, and a lot of times the best defense is keeping the offense off the field.
Yeah, North Dakota's run 7 plays to 19 for South Dakota. As Seidel tries the edge, turns it up, and he's going to be forced out of bounds. Rulli and Stewart there, but a nice pickup by Seidel. And that's a gain of about 8 yards.
Yeah, you got to show love to the guys on the edges throwing blocks there. Watson Haffer, the tight end, out there with the block. Nate DeMontenac out there with a good block on the edge to allow the running back to get untouched to get those 9 yards.
So Charles Langama now, they like this youngster out of Maple Grove, Minnesota. Hasn't had a lot of runs so far this season, but with the injury to Gavin Zebarth, who was hurt late in their win against Southern Illinois a couple of weeks ago, a clavicle injury, getting up maybe a little bit more of a look at Langama, here today. He picks up a first down out to the 42-yard line as North Dakota tries to get something moving here, down 9-0. Kaminsky back to pass, looking deep. B.J. Fleming is there, and he's got it.
Double move, man-to-man on the outside. Mikey Munn versus B.J. Fleming. Fleming with the double move. It's a hitch and go. They pump the hitch. Munn jumps on it, and that creates the separation. He did a good job of recovering to make the tackle, but that's how he got beat.
Yeah, Fleming has been their big play guy, their vertical threat, over 18 yards per catch so far this year. Leader in both receptions, yards, and touchdowns. That is 27th catch of the season. Kaminsky quick out to the edge, DeMontenac, and he's ripped out of bounds over there by Munn. But a gain of 6 or 7 yards on that play to the senior from Mississauga, Ontario.
And those types of plays there, the quick passes, the quick line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage passes where you get the ball out to the edge, to your playmakers quickly. I expected to see a lot more of that just because Illinois State had so much success doing that against the Coyotes last week.
Kaminsky keeps it, turns it up, and he's met after a short gain. Nate Ewell, the linebacker, but not before Kaminsky's able to pick up the first down.
And, Kaminsky is a dual threat. I mean, we talked about Illinois State's quarterback last week. Kaminsky, same type of player. He can beat you with the legs. He's like the opposite of what you get out of Aiden Bauman, where he's going to take off and run and make some guys miss and maybe put a head down to get extra yards.
Backside now, Kaminsky looking for Fleming, and a good read there by the free safety, Roman Tillman. He drops him behind the line of scrimmage. About a half-yard loss on the play. Good read that time by the free safety from Independence, Missouri, Roman Tillman.
Yep, saw what was coming, put himself in position to come up and deliver a nice open field tackle, bang, right there at the hip. Roman Tillman, one of the safeties that Coach Smith talked about. He's flashed on film, so they're fully aware of him in that secondary.
Leading tackler for this South Dakota defense. Officially, they call it no gain, 2nd and 10. Kaminsky, boy, he's gotten me a couple of times on that already. He pulls that late.
He got me.
And Kaminsky down to the 6-yard line.
Nice read there, like you said, right? Late read. Got 3 of us, the 2 broadcasters And now Dakota.
DeJuan Lewis made the stop at the 6-yard line. It'll be third and 4 for the Fighting Hawks. Corey tied, DeMontenac split wide to the left. Fleming tops, Dang, big red zone target number 2. High side, they'll give it up the middle to Seidel, and he just carries the whole group into the end zone. Touchdown, North Dakota.
I mean, that's how you move the pile. That's rugby scrum right there. Good job by the offensive line. Once the forward momentum was somewhat stopped by Seidel, then you see the offensive line just continue to push and maul their way into the end zone. They would not be denied for the Hawks touchdown.
For Sawyer Seidel, that is his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. His 12th touchdown overall. How about that answer from North Dakota in a hurry, marching it down the field. 75 yards, finishing it off with a 6-yard score from Seidel. Loftman on for the extra point, and he kicks it through. So North Dakota on the board now here in Vermillion. Still 11:18 to go, but Sawyer Seidel and the Fighting Hawks close to within 2.
In 1960.
Kaminsky, this is a big play to Fleming. Big play down the field, and then Seidel. This is just grown man stuff here. He carries the group into the end zone for his 8th rushing touchdown of the season to make it 9-7 South Dakota with 11:18 to go second quarter.
And we talked about how prior to that drive, Fighting Hawks hadn't really had the football very long, 4 minutes, and in 7 plays. But you see their ability to strike quite fast.
Boy, White looking dangerous again. Shakes off a tackle, but we got 2 flags coming in. This one's going to come back. And so, boy, every time he's had the chance to touch the football in the return game, Andre, it looked like it had a chance to go the distance.
And in so many of these instances, the last few times, there's flags that bring back great returns. So they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot, unless those flags are the reason why the returns were great. But I don't think so. If you look at where they're landing and where he ran, it was probably plays that didn't necessarily need to be made.
I mean, the flags are laying down on the near 30-yard line, and White was tackled on the logo in the dead center of the field.
On the return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
It's Grant Henderson, our referee. So it's a holding call against South Dakota. And again, they would have started this drive up around midfield, and instead they're going to back them all the way up to the 20-yard line. You saw it right there.
And that's the one thing about special teams penalties that just really hurt, is it's from the spot of the foul, not where the end of the run is, and then you march it back.
So South Dakota takes over at its own 20-yard line, leading 9-7. Under center goes Bauman. Play fake this time to Phillips. Looking out toward the edge. There is Javion Phelps, the hero of last year's win against North Dakota State, the regular season finale that's got South Dakota a share of its first Missouri Valley Football Conference title. But Phelps has not been a busy guy this year. That's just his second catch all season.
Yeah, and in this case, it was a good catch because it was a long throw. This was a long throw Bauman had to make from the hash to the out.
12-yard pickup out to the 32-yard line. Bauman sends the tight end Jesse Miller in motion. Back to pass again. Bauman finds Whitty. Big tackle there as he is stood up right as he catches it. Malachi McNeil, one of the big standouts defensively for North Dakota. We do have a flag on the near side of the field as well.
Yeah, and it's from the back side, opposite side of where that play was made. And so it's interesting to see what the call will be here. Great open field tackle, though. Again, good job.
An eligible player downfield, number 89 on the offense. The player was covered up in formation. 5 yards from the previous spot. It remains first down.
So Zach Whitty, normally an eligible receiver, but he was covered up in the formation, therefore not eligible to get downfield. And you can see it right there as Miller is lined up off that motion right over the top of Whitty. So Whitty, who made the catch, is the one who was called for the foul there, and they back it up 5 yards to the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st and 15. Reed Watkins into the game at running back now for South Dakota. A little misdirection here, trying with Jack Martins, and North Dakota was all over it. In on the stop that time was Antonio Blewett, and the corner just read that like a book.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's basically coming in to make the tackle from the backside, but then you bring the play right back to him, and he doesn't bite. And again, another good open field tackle by the Hawks.
Loss of 2 yards. It's 2nd and 17 now. Drive that had some promise. Doesn't show as much at the current moment for South Dakota as Bauman drops back to pass again, looking for Phelps. Makes his second catch on this drive. He stood up at the 31, back near the original line of scrimmage at the 31. But it will be 3rd and very long here for South Dakota coming up.
Yeah, it's a good job here. The ball is just thrown inside a little bit, and Phelps, trying to make sure that he secures the catch, really can't do nothing with it afterwards.
Avery Scott was doing everything he could to try and rip that football out of there, and Phelps did well just to hang on. South Dakota needs to get out to the 42-yard line for a first down. This is Martins in motion. Keep it on the ground with Phillips. Phillips has the first down.
That's usually not how it's drawn up. That kind of run play in that situation is, let's see how many we can get to give us a little bit more field position for this punt. But then when you got that guy and you got that kind of hole, look at the holes that he's throwing to. Good blocks on the edge. Phillips just explodes through and picks up that Coyote first down.
Blewett, John Martin on the stop that time for North Dakota, but Phillips gained 12 yards. He's up to 60 for the day now, and it's 1st and 10 South Dakota. Watkins gets a carry. Nothing there as UND met him right there. It's Lance Rucker right at the line of scrimmage. Might have lost about a half a yard on the play.
Shout out to that young man, Lance Rucker. His little brother is actually my son's college roommate. So good job of him making the play. So I can shout him out. Yeah, give him a little shout out.
The Rucker Jr. out of Omaha, Nebraska. Team 7 tackles for loss, make it 8 now with that stop on Reed Watkins. Also has 4 sacks on the season. 2nd and 11 now. Back to Phillips. Coyotes are getting some good push on the ground game right now against this front for North Dakota, which has been very stout against the run. The Fighting Hawks allowing about 89.3 yards per game total on the season.
Well, you can kind of see why. They're obviously very aggressive and physical, but they're such a good tackling team. We've seen several examples so far today of them just being able to get guys on the ground right at the point of contact, not giving them too many yak yardage or getting them down in space. So you can see why they've been successful against the run. But today, USD is doing a pretty good job so far of taking small gains and then coming back to get bigger ones.
Bauman taking a shot play. Javion Phelps, it's going to be picked off down there, but there is a flag. Jai Martin on the interception for now, but I think North Dakota is going to get called for pass interference or a hold here.
Yeah, that's the indication here, pass interference. So it probably came, if maybe a double move. And usually in that case, if the DB is beat, they'll reach out to try to grab the hold just to see if they can get themselves back into position. And if the referee's on top of it, especially if the ball's being thrown to your guy, that's going to be an easy call.
What a drive it's been for Javion Phelps. Again, had one catch all season coming into the day, has 2 catches on this drive. Now it picks up a big pass interference call, which is going to give South Dakota good field position.
Defense number 2. This is a spot foul and an automatic first down.
So it goes against Avery Scott, the senior from Newport News, Virginia. And South Dakota, just like that, in scoring position now at the 39.5. They're going to put that football nose. Yep, now they're going to put it right at the 39-yard line as you got another look at it there. Martin thought he had a pick, which would have been his 3rd of the season. Instead, it gets wiped off the board, and South Dakota gets a first down inside the 40-yard line of the Fighting Hawks.
Yeah, I got a feeling penalties would be something addressed at halftime by Coach Eric Schmidt.
Little flea flicker here. This one is got ugly quick. North Dakota got pressure into the backfield off the defensive front, Andre, that time, and that made it a bit of a precarious position for Aiden Bauman when he got this pitch back.
Offense number 2. It's a spot foul with a loss of down. The quarterback did not maintain control of the snap. Therefore, by rule, it's grounding. It is 4th down.
Well, because
it was a flea flicker.
Second down. Correction, second down.
So Bauman's giving up the opportunity to throw the football away, essentially, is what we're being told by Grant Henderson there. Right. I mean, because he's outside of the tackle box, the ball got past the line of scrimmage. All the other check marks that you need to be able to throw the football away are there for Bauman, except for the part about maintaining possession of the snap.
Correct. Yep, it was a flea flicker, handed off to L.J. Phillips, tossed back to Bauman, and therefore then it became a grounding penalty by him trying to throw it away.
So the razzle-dazzle is not rewarded that time for South Dakota. And in fact, it proves costly as they lose 5 yards on the intentional grounding, and it's 2nd and 14. Bauman finds Bose, who just set up camp right in the middle of the field that time. Andre got a bunch of that yardage back. Much more manageable situation on 3rd down here. Just a couple yards shy of the line to gain.
So you're behind the sticks, and then with one play now you're back on schedule, as you mentioned, just sitting down in the zone. What that means is the defenders in zone are set up in certain areas. If you find an area in between them and you just stop, the quarterback can usually find you, and in this case, pick up big yardage on the catch. 6
minutes to go in the first half. South Dakota continues to eat clock here in the early going against their rivals from Grand Forks. Up the middle it goes. Phillips trying to step through the tackle. Defender had a hold of him and wasn't letting go for anything. Getting up off the bottom, that's Zach Lewis.
We talked about it just a few minutes ago, their ability to tackle in space. Zach Lewis, all he was able to do was get a leg, and he held on to that leg and did not let it go. Otherwise, it would have been probably a big gainer. There was a lot of space there for Phillips. But again, a great tackle in space. Zach Lewis, the free safety.
South Dakota keeps the offense on the field here. Kind of in that no man's land. Would be a really long field goal attempt. Need 2 yards to get a first down. Under center is Bauman. Wanted to go backside to Phillips, but it was covered up. Phillips, or looking for Phillips now, and it's knocked away incomplete. Great coverage there by North Dakota. They were all over it from the start.
Yeah, it looked like Payne Parks. He was his guy. If he would have come off, they would have gave Bauman an easy pitch and catch, but he didn't, and the Hawks get off the field.
So 2 4th down stops now for the North Dakota defense.
What's so special about Lignet?
Pitching it out to the right side, and Seidel is out to the 37-yard line from the look of it. Seidel had the touchdown run on the last possession for North Dakota. 5 carries, 20 yards for him so far. 2nd and 4. Kaminsky looking for Fleming. And that'll be a first down out around midfield. They're going to spot him at the 48-yard line. Clock continues to tick, under 4.5 to play first half.
Fighting Hawks with some tempo here and no huddle. Not trying to go too fast, but they're definitely not huddling. Just calling the plays at the line of scrimmage here.
Passes like that, what Travis Johansson calls free access plays. You know, you kind of giving corners off. You're giving up that yards because you don't want to get beat over the top, which we saw them do last time. North Dakota had the football. Ruley and Stewart picks it off. Stewart, first career interception. He takes it back inside the 40-yard line of North Dakota.
And this interception was basically set up by pressure. Kaminsky, with guys in his face, throws a ball that he shouldn't have thrown. It was double coverage. There was, even with the safety over the top, you see Ruley comes off of the guy that he was sinking underneath and comes back to help on this. So the Kaminsky didn't see or didn't expect R.J. Stewart or Ruley and Stewart to come off of his man, but it's a good job of him being aware of the situation and the play, finding the ball, and then, of course, going and getting it.
He was looking for his tight end, Aiden Beheimer, there, and I think what he saw, Kaminsky, from the look of that, was he saw the coverage of Nate Ewell. He never saw Stewart. Just kind of
thought he was going to continue on to sink back, and he didn't.
So Coyotes off the turnover. 1st and 10 at the North Dakota 38-yard line. Bauman not going to get away. Drop for a loss. Emmanuel Ulagbaju is there to make the stop. That's a sack for him. It'll be his 2nd of the season.
Yeah, and that's a good job of the pressure getting to Bauman, because he actually had Jack Barnes open over the middle, but he had to move around to get away from the pressure. He never got his eyes downfield to see it. So it's a good job of what they say, squeezing the pocket, making it tight around him, so he's starting to feel bodies and see green helmets, and he starts to panic a little bit, tries to find a way out, and doesn't have one.
Ulagbaju, a transfer from St. Thomas, on the stop that time. They'll give it off Carson Fletcher now. So on 2nd and long, Coyotes keep it on the ground with Fletcher. He gets back to the 40-yard line, but still 3rd and very long. Ticking toward 2 minutes to play in this opening half. Get time of possession strongly in favor of USD. Up over 17 minutes in this first half, but just a 2-point lead on the scoreboard, 9-7. Bauman, good protection up front, looking over the middle, and Fletcher can't hang on. Takes a big shot from Devereaux there, and he breaks it up. That stops the clock with 2:23.
It's an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and it was incomplete. He really didn't have possession. He went to try to bring it from his face mask down to where you would hold it, and he's hit, and the ball comes out. So yeah, no catch here. Had he even caught it, he'd have been well short of the first down.
So South Dakota unable to take advantage of the turnover that time. The interception, the first of the career of Ruley and Stewart. And so they will punt it away. Zach Lewis back deep, standing inside his own 10. Tyler Ebel will punt it for South Dakota. First time he's been on the field today. End over end kick. Bounce toward the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Jaden Brown, the guy who got the block earlier, was in the vicinity but couldn't find the football this time.
Yes, he should have been able to look up and locate it and be the one to make the catch. Couldn't do that, and the ball goes into the end zone.
So North Dakota gets another chance here before the half with 2:15 to play in the second quarter. South Dakota won the coin toss, deferred its option to the second half, so Coyotes will get the football to start the third quarter.
So that means the Fighting Hawks here are definitely thinking score. We have to score on this particular drive. because we know the Yotes will get the ball to start the half. They have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, so they got the full playbook available here. And we've seen them go right down the field so far in this second quarter very quickly.
Beheimer, the guy that was the intended target on the interception thrown by Kaminsky, which, by the way, was only his 3rd of the season, Andre. All the passes he's thrown, he takes very good care of the football. A rare mistake from him. Finds Beheimer this time. He gets 5 yards. That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. So 2 minutes to go here, first half in Vermillion. South Dakota leading number 8 North Dakota 9-7 here at the Dakota Dome.
Farmers Union Insurance, simply different.
All right, so 2 minutes to play first half. South Dakota leading North Dakota 9-7 here. Jerry Kaminsky, the Fighting Hawks offense on the field. 2nd and 5 from their own 25. Xavier Lee getting a carry here. The transfer from Sacred Heart. First time we've seen him out there on offense so far today, and he's got first down yardage out to the 30. Back to Lee. Niall Dickel, who's been an active guy here in the first half defensively for South Dakota. Met the ball carrier right at the line of scrimmage, and I think Lee got a yard. A little bit of tempo here from North Dakota as the clock continues to tick. Now under a minute and a half to play before halftime. Quick shot out to the edge, looking for Caden Dennis. Mikey Munn was in coverage there. That throw low and behind, though, and it's incomplete. Stops the clock with 1:27 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, wanted to be a quick pass. It was just a quick slant on the outside, but Kaminsky, in his rush to get it out, really didn't throw a good football, or at least not a very catchable one. So now they're in 3rd and long here with 1:27 to go. So they, potentially, if they don't get this, could give USD some decent field position with time left and all 3 timeouts.
Kaminsky wants over the top, looking for DeMontenac, and he comes back to get the football. He had to search for that thing, Andre, but he makes the catch. First down into USD territory.
So it's a too high coverage. That means the safeties have over the top and the corners have underneath. And DeMontenac was able to get between the safeties and into a space where the safety could not get there in time. He does a great job of adjusting back to the football and making that huge catch.
It felt like DeMontenac turned himself around 2-3 different times there before making the catch. Kaminsky now looking for it all. Caden Dennis is there, and it's broken up by Mikey Munn. There was 2 red shirts in the area that time, but the ball got over the top and was right on the arms of Caden Dennis. Munn made a great play to break that thing up, and it looks like a flag here against North Dakota.
Offense number 71.
So it wouldn't have mattered.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It remains first down.
Yeah, so penalties have been a big thing for the Fighting Hawks in this first half. You've had a couple that have brought back plays that could have been or should have been. Yeah, definitely there at the top of the screen, you can see the hole where he basically tackles the defender. And if Kaminsky could have that one back, even though it's a moot point, he'd want to put that one further out in front of Dennis so that he can run to it rather than come back for it.
Hold was called on Seth Anderson, the right tackle. 5th penalty for 39 yards in this first half against North Dakota. Out of the backfield looking for Xavier Lee, and it's incomplete. Again, a little bit behind the intended target that time. Not sure that was going to go real far anyway, because Matt Walsh was steaming down toward Lee, but it falls incomplete. Stops the clock with 1:12 to go.
Yeah, and again, like you said, a little bit behind him and a little bit rushed. And it seems like when he's trying to rush the ball out quickly, he doesn't get off very good throws, which, I mean, that makes sense.
You've got Fleming out there, top of the screen. But Kaminsky dancing around the pocket, now flushes out. Chris Dixon is there. Roman Tillman streaking in. Is that picked off?
Yep.
Matt Walsh picked it off. Second interception thrown by Kaminsky in the first half. And South Dakota takes over with 1:04 to play before halftime.
And takes over in great field position. That's the biggest thing here. G. Kaminsky trying to direct traffic, and then he's going to throw it away, but he doesn't throw it far enough away. He throws it away in play and allows the defender Harmon to catch, Walsh to catch the ball and get a foot in bounds and set up USD in great field position. We've seen Kaminsky uncharacteristically throw a couple balls where he either wasn't locked in or his eyes weren't in the right place, and it's led to interceptions. Came in with only 2, and so far has 2 today.
Doubled that total here today in the first half. And South Dakota, which has struggled taking the football away from its opponent, has 2 big turnovers. They did not score on the first. Can they get something done here before the half? Bobbitt on first down. Looking over the middle for the tight end, Jesse Miller, but Blewett is there and breaks it up. Good hit from behind to separate the football.
Yeah, good recognition by Blewett, seeing where Bauman was going with the football, kind of locked in on Bauman's eyes, who he stared at his target the whole way, and Blewett made a great break to get that PBU.
Got to get some flowers to Walsh on that interception. That's good ball skills. Sideline awareness there to make the catch and keep a foot in bounds.
Yes, it is.
Give his offense an opportunity at least here before the half. South Dakota does have all 3 of its timeouts. Tyson Bowes goes in motion. Keep it on the ground though with Phillips. Phillips gets the edge, turns it up. Phillips forced out of bounds, but he's got a first down at the North Dakota 43-yard line.
And gets out of bounds to stop the clock so they don't have to use the timeout here with now under a minute to play in this half.
Phillips has had a strong day running the football. A strong season, just a continuance of a strong season for that young man out of Wichita, Kansas. 17 carries, 76 yards for Phillips so far today. Bauman back to pass. Looking to the edge, has Fenner. Second big grab of the day for Lorenzo. Fenner makes a bad miss. Touchdown, South Dakota.
And for as much as I have given praise to the Hawks for their ability to tackle defensively, this particular play, they did not do that. 3 missed tackles right along the sideline allows Fenner to get this ball into the end zone. They're just assuming he's going to go out, thinking maybe because of the the time of the half and he's near the edge that he's going to just go out and save time, and he doesn't. Fenner with a couple nice moves there to elude defenders and score for the Coyotes right before half.
He got away from Scott first, and then I think Jai Martin, the free safety, second. And Leyland on for the extra point. It's up and through. And boy, you talk about a big sequence there. The interception on defense. And the Coyotes capitalize on offense as Aiden Bauman connects with Lorenzo Fenner, who did, frankly, most of the work on that 43-yard touchdown. And for Fenner, that's his 7th receiving score of the season.
And he, right before that particular play, I had even watched him as he was lining up man-to-man with Avery Scott, and I thought, you know, Avery Scott's doing a really good job of bottling him up. We haven't heard his name much, and then, of course, boom, he gets that particular play.
That was really the big pass over the middle on the early drive.
Yep.
And then that one right there. Those are the 2 catches, but they were both significant for South Dakota so far today, as Lorenzo Fenner, his big play ability continues to flash here in his sophomore season. Him and Roman Tillman, high school teammates down in Independence, Missouri. And now both making plays on respective sides of the ball.
Wearing number 1 on both sides of the ball.
There you go.
I wonder if that was planned because of them being teammates in Independence.
So Zeke Mata will kick it off. Keep an eye on Sawyer Seidel, though. He is a dangerous man if he given an opportunity to return, and the Coyotes will not give him that opportunity as they dribble it down the field. Hayden Stay, the tight end. We've seen a couple of abusive hits on kickoff returns so far today, and now we're going to get flags to boot. So again, the penalty situation is the one thing you're going to really be looking at, regardless of which team you're talking about. If this is on North Dakota, that's huge, because that is their would be their 6th penalty of the first half, and this would be a big one.
I do believe it might be. Devereaux got a little bit too excited or chippy in there. I don't know if it was provoked, obviously, but he just did a little too much extra at the end of the play.
Number 51 for South Dakota may not participate in this play due to his helmet coming off. After the play, personal foul on the receiving team, number 34. 15-yard penalty from the succeeding spot. First down, North Dakota.
So Eric Schmidt having a chat with Mr. Devereaux right now.
Yep.
As a matter of fact.
Saying, like, you can't do that, man. You got to do it between the whistles. Relax.
See, you see it, right?
The little left-hand shot on the helmet. That's what did it.
And it was, I mean, again, everything was over with. It's just whatever might have been done. They always get the second guy, right? That's what they say.
So
that's what coaches always have to remind.
Something was either said or done that Devereaux took exception with. A little
probably
push right there.
Right there, the little push on the pile.
And then bang, he comes back with a left hook, and that's what the referee sees.
That was DJ Kennard, number 31 for South Dakota. That
timeout, South Dakota. Their first
engaged there.
This will be a 30-second
South Dakota will
timeout.
Call a timeout here. Important drive here. 39 seconds remaining second quarter, but let us first check in with our friends at Sanford Health.
At Sanford Health, primary care means being there when and where you need it most. It means building a relationship so your provider can deliver the best care for your whole life. Find a primary care provider at sanfordhealth.org.
So 39 seconds to go in the half. North Dakota has 2 timeouts remaining. And again, USD will get the football to start the third quarter. So whatever you can do, if you're Eric Schmidt company, you want to try and get some points on the board here with this 39 seconds.
Absolutely.
So Seidel, the running back. It's Corey Ty in motion. He'll keep it on the ground with Seidel, and South Dakota not fooled at all. Stepping up, there's Nate Ewell again. That's a name we've said a lot here in the first half today.
Yeah, he's one of the premier linebackers, I think, in the Valley. And like you said, not fooled by the play action, and is right there in position to make the tackle, and does so.
Clock continues to tick. Kaminsky back to pass now. Tries to dump it off into the backfield, and boy, he put a lot of mustard on that pass into the flat for Seidel, and it again was behind the target and falls incomplete.
And you know, in a lot of these scenarios, the pressure is not what's forcing him to throw these balls bad. It's just him, and we don't really see that out of him coming into today's game. So there's something that's got him a little bit antsy, and he's not putting the ball in position for his guys to make the catch.
He came into the day over 62% completions on the season. Seidel trying to get toward that first down marker. I think he did get enough for the first down on 3rd and 9. And that'll stop the clocks to allow them to set the chains with 9 seconds remaining in the half.
And the thing about Seidel is only, he's listed as 5'10", 175. And you can see that 175. He's not a very big guy, but he is quick. So when he hits that hole, he hits it. He hits it. And if you're not in there with him, he'll run by you.
And North Dakota just going to go to the half here, down 16-7. through 2 quarters. An impressive 30 minutes for USD against the number 8 team in the country. Coyotes on top at the break, 16-7 over North Dakota.
See success, show other people success, and then get better in year 4. I think our press is going to be better. I think we've added some nice pieces to our program, and we're going to keep going with this thing.
That was the thing. You made some pretty fundamental changes. Style of play was completely different than it was from year 2 to year 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a guessing game for a lot of people that way.
Everybody jokes with me. Early on, I think our first 5 games at home, they're like, you had more dunks in the first 5 games than we've seen in the last 5 years. And just the frantic pace. We had the chiropractors love it in Vermilion because everybody's necks are broken from going second in pace in the country and third in scoring offense. Score a lot of points, play really, really fast. And there's some things that we need to tweak, but I knew last year there were things that we needed to tweak, and we did, and we got better at them. So we're going to keep going with it, and I think our press is going to be a lot better this year.
Yeah, I got a win in the tournament. Also got to the free throw line a ton. That was another piece of that a byproduct of that system that you ran.
Yeah, you wear teams down, and you get steals, and you have the advantage. I always talk about playing advantage basketball, especially on offense. You try to find an advantage right away, and then keep them at a disadvantage, or the defense at a disadvantage. And we were just attacking downhill all the time, and obviously Chase was a huge piece of that, and we got to get some other guys downhill and finishing at the rim and getting fouled too.
Yeah, that's the thing. This day and age, it's when you have that kind of success, other people notice too, and sometimes that means opportunities for some of the guys that you got to coach last year aren't there for you this year, including the Defensive Player of the Year in Chase Forte, who's at Boston College now. But you do return 8 guys in total. Isaac Bruns, right at the top of that list, obviously a guy that's ready to be the guy.
Yeah, and I've talked about that at some other stations today, but I think the most important piece is when you can return half your team, that's a huge deal, whether they played or not. We redshirted 2 guys. We have Shea, we have Ashton, we have Cam, we have Isaac, we have Jake Brack, who was out for we have some guys that have been part of that system that I think you can get significantly better in year 2 because you have those returners. So the last 2 years we've kept 8 guys. Isaac's a huge piece of it. A lot of people are like, how'd you keep Isaac? And I'm like, man, he's a little bit stubborn, but he's 25 minutes away from campus. He's a South Dakota kid, and he wants to do it at South Dakota. He loves this place, and he's committed to try to get this team to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, preseason first-team all-league selection, and rightfully so. Honorable mention last year, came off the bench for a lot of the year, started 16 at the end, but almost 15 points a game, 4 rebounds for him. Certainly a breakout kind of year. And then the big guy in the middle, you talk about injuries, and a guy that you would have loved to have had at the end of the season that you didn't was Cam Fenn, your 7-footer. Had a foot injury that cost him a lot of the year, but big things in store for him if he stays healthy.
Yeah, not just the end of the season, the second half of the season. We would have loved to have him. I thought he was playing really well. Western Michigan might have been his best game. Hurt his foot against Southern Indiana, and then just kind of was downhill from there, and then was out for the rest of the season. But when you look at the press, if you watch us play in the tournament here, what didn't we have? We didn't have a lot of rim protection at the backside of the press. And when you lose a guy like Cam, who's 7 feet tall, and people know that he's there, right? You think twice about driving in there and putting something up against him. And then the other piece that really hurt us, Jay, towards the end of the year, the second half of the year, was just the defensive rebounding piece. And Cam's an elite rebounder, so I'm really excited to get him back. He's had some really good practices. He had an awesome summer where he was like, half go, or he did some practices, not the other. And once we, cleared him fully, he's been awesome for us, and he continues to get better every single week.
All right, let's talk about the newcomers now. And one unfortunate piece of news that came out last week was the injury to Josiah Doetzler, the transfer from St. Louis, who started his career at Creighton. He was a guy I know you had high hopes for. Unfortunately, injured his knee, and you lost him for the year. What kind of a blow is that? And is it something, if it happens now, it's a little easier to overcome than if it happens like when Cam's injury did last year?
Yeah, it's never easy, honestly. As a coach, you love your players, or you should love your players, and he's put so much time and effort into coming back and just rehabbing, and he's been such a good leader. And like this summer too, he wasn't cleared to practice, and he was cleared for 2 weeks, and he goes down, no contact at practice, and he's screaming. And man, I was just like, I was down in the dumps for about a day because I saw how much time and effort he put into it. Right, it's never easy to come back from an ACL, but if there is a saving grace, it's happening now to our team, where we have a month to correct it and to put some guys in different situations to help them. And early on, with a bunch of freshmen, we're going to play a lot of young guys. In the non-conference, we have home games, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but it's a learning piece for us, and we'll just keep adjusting as it goes on, so we can figure that out by the conference season and hopefully be playing well in March.
Another guy I know you're excited about is Jordan Crawford, junior guard. Got him from Eastern Kentucky. He averaged about 8 points, 2 rebounds, steal and a half, so maybe that's the Chase Forte factor there defensively. But just what do you also spent some time in college at Charleston. This is a guy that athletically is going to bring a lot to the floor.
Yeah, so last year I was trying to watch his stuff, and there was a significant time where he was out, and he had mono. So he lost a bunch of weight, and I'm thinking like to myself, man, if he doesn't get mono, we might not be able to get him, right? So just unfortunate for Chase, for Jordan, and we fully expect him to be a version of Chase, right? He's very fast. I would say, if you asked me this 2 weeks ago, Josiah, Uzziah, and Jordan are 3 of the fastest guys I've ever coached. And if you look at our press at the end of the year, we didn't fix things as fast as we should have. And what I mean by that is when you go gamble and you take a risk and you trap, now you got to get back and fix your mistake and get back in front of people and get back in the half court. I thought we were able to fix things a lot faster this fall, and we still will with Jordan and Uzziah. But Jordan just has a burst of speed and athleticism, kind of like Dre was last year, where he's athletic like that. And man, I'm excited about his fall, because he had a great fall, and he's an upperclassman, and he'll lead us too.
You open November 3rd at home against Utah Tech. That's part of the theme at home. You've got 14 Division I home games, and I know that's not always easy to get people to come play you in Vermilion. How'd you manage to put that together?
Well, when you're 14-2 in the SESC, like you try to schedule more games there, right? Like that's important.
Makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. No, I've always been into scheduling. I've always analyzed that stuff. You always try to find ways to get home games every year. Sometimes it's really lopsided, and that's what coaches go through. Like, oh, I had a really good year, but now the next year I'm playing on the road. So how can you maximize home games and play a balanced amount every single year? We had 16 games at home last year. Obviously, there's some non-D1s in there as well, but our scheduling is 5 find as many home games as you can, and after that, adjust, right? So I'm excited about our schedule. We have some really good games with K-State and Creighton and Missouri, and then we have 2 Mountain West teams in Wyoming and Air Force out in Rapid City. So I'm really happy with our schedule. I don't know if any other Summit League team has a schedule like us.
Season Monday night at home against Utah Tech. Back with more from Vermillion right after this. (16-7). South Dakota on top of 8th-ranked North Dakota. And Andre, it was an impressive 30 minutes of football from South Dakota, who moved it into UND territory every time they had it. Even the one time they punted, they had the football in plus territory, which has been, a little bit of a struggle for them at times. But overall, though, you look at the whole picture holistically, offense, defense, special teams. Aside from the long touchdown drive for North Dakota, it was an outstanding half for USD that way.
It was. They were very efficient in all 3 phases, as you mentioned. And just, not getting that one touchdown inside the 1 yard line when UND had the stand. I mean, maybe you look at that and you say, we got to be better in that area. But I think overall they had a really good half, a solid half. I think it was solid Valley football really on both sides until kind of late there where the Hawks offense seemed a little sputterish with Kaminsky not throwing the football well. But, yeah, overall, good half for the Coyotes.
Yeah, North Dakota is just feels a little bit out of sync right now, and so they're getting their opportunity to try and figure out what adjustments they need to make for this second half. But let's take a look at the first half highlights from today's game. And again, USD started strong, but it was the defense that made the big impression early for North Dakota. The goal line stand on the first possession of the day for South Dakota kept them out of the end zone. But on the heels of that, you got another big special teams play right here from South Dakota's Jaden Brown off the edge, blocks it out of the back of the end zone. That led to this, the free kick return from Braden White. Takes it all the way down to about the 23-yard line of North Dakota. And the Coyotes would capitalize on that with LJ Phillips. He takes it in from a yard out. He did a lot of ball carrying in that first half. The young man from Wichita, as he gets it in for the touch. It was 9-0, but Jerry Kaminsky and company come right back down the field, hooks up with B.J. Fleming on the long pass play. And then Kaminsky picks up a big first down there, and then it was Sawyer Seidel. Here's Kaminsky again, and then Seidel after this. A grown man run, taking everybody to the house with him.
Yeah, like you said, that rugby scrum, and you see that offensive line was not going to be denied.
That made it 9-7, but the defense got some things figured out here for South Dakota. Forced some uncharacteristic mistakes from Kaminsky, including that interception right there from Matt Walsh. And that set up Aiden Bauman for one last chance before the half, and he made the most of it. Lorenzo Fenner making a couple of guys miss on his way into the end zone for a 43-yard touchdown. And that puts South Dakota up 9 again for the second time today. It's 16-7 as we take a look at your first half stats. Time of possession has been controlled by South Dakota all day long. in the penalty situation. That's the other thing that really stands out when you look at this for North Dakota. Just too many mistakes that way, and then the 2 turnovers. North Dakota's used to taking the ball away from people. They don't give it away much. So to get 2 on them, that's something you just have not seen.
And to do it in the first half. This isn't the end of the game. This is the first half where they got the 2 turnovers. The penalties, albeit 6 for only 54, they were costly, right? They were in third down situations, etc. So those are things they will have to adjust. And if you're USD, you want to continue to keep Kaminsky uncomfortable in the pocket, because at the end of the half, that seemed to be the difference in why he was not as efficient as he had been in previous games.
And individually, you see there, L.J. Phillips, 17 carries, 76 yards, and that touchdown to lead South Dakota to this 16-7 lead at the half. We'll take a look at what else is going on around the Missouri Valley Football Conference right after this.
It's game day, and whether you're feeding the family...
Start of the third quarter anyway here in Vermillion against South Dakota, leading North Dakota by a score of 16-7. Lots of other action around the Missouri Valley Football Conference today. Illinois State, who snapped USD's 11-game win streak last week here, up 14-0 on Northern Iowa at home. Second quarter there. How about this? South Dakota State trailing Indiana State late in the first quarter, 7-3. End of the first quarter, excuse me, 7-3. Youngstown State, North Dakota State just getting going in Fargo. Southern Illinois will be at Murray State. A 4 o'clock kickoff in that one. But again, that South Dakota State score is one worth paying attention to, just because obviously what happened last week in the Dakota Marker game, you're looking to see how would the Jackrabbits respond. So far, it's off to a slow start, 7-3 trailing.
And, you know, usually you wouldn't look at that and get overly concerned, being that it's only in the first quarter. But as it starts to progress, you said into the first and going into the second, how will they respond? You know, not having their quarterback back just yet, and then you coming off of that loss. So far, it looks like they haven't rebounded just quite yet.
Well, that's an Indiana State team that lost by 29 points in Grand Forks just last week. So our score here in Vermillion, again, 16-7, South Dakota on top. Kyles will get the football to start the third quarter when you come back on Midco Sports.
The One.
very efficient at not only catching the ball, making blocks in the run game, but you can just kind of plug and play any of those guys and keep your same efficiency.
Miller, redshirt sophomore out of Scranton, Iowa. 1st and 10 USD at the 38-yard line. That's Jack Martins in motion. They'll give it off to Reed Watkins, the youngster. A little extra burst from him, and a flag comes in late in that play, and so this might be coming back at least a little bit. Boy, I don't know if it's a holding call or what, but Watkins didn't need much help there. He had a good run.
Offense, number 1. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It remains first down.
So Lorenzo Fenner is the guy that gets popped for this. See if we can see number 1, top of the screen here. Oh, I don't know. He's got his hands outside the shoulders.
Right. So I mean, it can go both ways. If you're a Coyote fan, you're like, that's kind of ticky-tacky. If you're a Hawks fan, you're like, yeah, hold it. And I agree with both.
So they back it up now, 1st and 16, and Phillips back in the game at running back. Approaching 100 yards, skips forward to the 40-yard line, takes a big shot there from Lance Rucker, but a nice gain for Phillips to get the Coyotes back on schedule here. It'll be 2nd and about 8.
Yep, again, ability to find the lane, making some nice cutback moves, and then explode through it for positive yards. See there, just good vision. Again, we've said that several times today, but LJ Phillips with that on display for the Coyotes. As he comes off slow,
hobbled off. That's obviously concerning if you're South Dakota, as much of the offense as he has handled here today. Pressure coming from North Dakota. Bauman looking over the top, finds Martins. And again, just found a spot in that coverage for North Dakota. Martins hauls it in. It's a first down in Fighting Hawks territory.
Yeah, in this particular call, you can see the Hawks were in zone, and again, just able to find Martins coming all the way across the formation. He's able to kind of outrun the zone, get behind the linebackers, and make the catch for the first down.
So that'll be the first catch of the day for Jack Martins, the senior out of Cumberland, Wisconsin. Over 1,000 yards in his career now. Achieved that milestone a couple of weeks back. Watkins gets another carry, tripped up inside the 40.
Rucker was the one that tripped him up. He actually did a pretty good job getting back into the play. Right there, he tried to run away from him. They had the tight end blocking him. He's able to stick his right arm out and trip up the runner, keep him to a minimal gain.
So Fletcher now into the game as LJ Phillips continues to be in the tent on the far side of the field for South Dakota. So something certainly worth monitoring as we go forward in this second half. Fake the handoff to Fletcher, rolling out. Here's Bauman, now turns it up, is going to run for it, takes a shot on the sideline. Flag comes in immediately. And that will be a 15-yard penalty against North Dakota.
And they got to be careful they don't get anything extra to offset it over there on that particular sideline. Johnny Wilshire coming in with the huge lick, but clearly Bauman was already on the white when he took that shot.
So Wilshire, a senior from Middletown, Delaware.
After the play, personal foul, defense number 3. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run, and an automatic first down.
Let's see if you can see if Bauman does get to the sideline here. He stepped on the white before the hit, and if you're a defender, you know they're going to protect the quarterback in that situation. You just can't launch yourself like that.
That is correct, and you know there have been times where the guy is maybe not quite yet on the white, but you look like he's running to him, and you take that shot. There he knew, like his foot had hit the ground, he smacked him. Yes, he was already in full run mode because he had committed, but you got to be careful there because you're giving up field position you don't need to do.
Back to the Wildcat with Phillips, so that's good news for South Dakota, who keeps himself moving forward, spins for a yard or so. But again, what did we talk about coming out of the half and going into the half for Eric Schmidt's team? The penalties was a big part of the story for them in that first half. So a potentially very costly one there against Wiltshire on this first possession of the third quarter.
And during the week, Coach Schmidt had mentioned penalties as being something that they wanted to make sure that they stayed away from, because he felt that they had some costly penalties in the last game that would just lack of focus. You know, third and shorts where they would jump off sides and put themselves behind the sticks.
Phillips got a yard there, so it's 2nd and 9. Bauman back under center now. Finds his running back out of the backfield. He's not able to hang on, and Bauman just rushed that throw because there was a lot of space for number 24 out on the edge there.
And obviously we've watched several Coyote games this season, and it seems as though that always is the case. Not 100%, but a lot of the times when he's trying to outlet to Phillips, for some reason he just doesn't throw him a very good ball. Phillips always has to go down low or reach back for it or something. I don't know what that is.
You could tell based on the reaction there from Bauman that he knew it immediately. He just frustrated with himself, kind of overthrowing that one. And we're going to get a sideline warning here against North Dakota, a timeout for North Dakota. One of their coaches was 3 yards off the sideline, and the official had to come over and tell him to get off the field, and then they called timeout.
Correction. Timeout on the field.
So that'll be the first timeout for North Dakota in this half. South Dakota threatening here to start the third quarter. Coyotes leading 16-7 with 10:40 to go.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Sanford Health, the exclusive orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Coyotes.
103rd meeting all time between South Dakota. It was a doozy last year in Grand Forks. Coyotes got it 42-36, leading today 16-7, facing 3rd and 9 from the Fighting Hawks 21-yard line here. And North Dakota jumped off sides, I believe.
And if they didn't, they acted as though the offensive guys did, instead of just getting back and getting lined up.
Defense number 23. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So because he comes around, you can see he switches sides to get to formation, and yes, he jumps into the neutral zone. I don't know if he touched anybody, but he should have reacted just by getting back. Instead, he stays there, and referees call.
He didn't get out. Like, once he got in, he kind of stood there for a second.
Get back.
And then South Dakota, I think it was Sam Coles that finally jumped, but it was a delayed reaction from the offensive lineman there.
Because they were probably waiting on him to get back too.
Right. Much more manageable 3rd down now for South Dakota. It's 3rd and 4. Need to get to the 13-yard line. Reed Watkins, the running back. Bauman takes the snap. Into Braden White, and UND was all over it. We have not seen much in the wide receiver screen game from South Dakota. They try one here with White because he's the kind of, as we've seen in the kick game, he's that guy you want to get open in space and see what he can do, but this one never had a chance. UND was all over it. Jai Martin, the first on the scene for the Fighting Hawks, and that'll force Will Leyland to come on now and try a 36-yard field goal. Leyland 10 of 12 on the year with a long of 44. This from the left hash. Good snap, good hold. Leyland up and away, and it is good. So Leyland, with his 11th field goal of the season, stretches the lead to 12 here with 9:55 to go third quarter. 19-7 South Dakota.
Orthopedic pain is limiting.
Coming back on our Sanford Health injury report, and Adrian Hawkins, the most experienced returning offensive lineman for South Dakota, missing his second straight game today due to a knee injury. Suffered that a couple of weeks back against Northern Iowa. Officially listed as indefinitely out. Never a good word when you hear that, especially late in a season. But Hawkins, been unavailable, but Brock Wolf has moved in from right tackle to right guard. Jacob Arope is making his third consecutive start now at right tackle, and those guys seem to be handling things pretty well so far today. The run game has been strong, and Sawyer Seidel is back deep along with Avery Scott, awaiting the kick from Zeke Mata. Scott will take it at the goal line. Scott finds a little room off the right side. Great return here for Scott out across the 40-yard line, and that'll help Jerry Kaminsky and company a little bit.
That will. Good field position to start. They run the kick game has been dominated so far by USD, so it's good for the Fighting Hawks there to get a good solid return here and see if that momentum can carry over to the offense.
Sean Kostic, one of the guys that was retained by Eric Schmidt, the longtime special teams coordinator for the Fighting Hawks, has done a tremendous job over the years. That's always a strength of the Fighting Hawks. Kostic, of course, has a lot to do with that. And his group gives Kaminsky the football for the first time in the third quarter at their own 40-yard line to start. Strandell, the man in motion. Kaminsky keeps it. Chased down from behind. That'll be Caden Crawford on the stop, but a gain of 6 for Kaminsky.
Yep, Kaminsky again using those legs on that zone read. He does a really good job of holding it in there to the last second and then pulling to get those positive yards. I've been fooled a couple times today.
Well, you've got to have a tailback that's on the same page with you if you're going to wait that long, right? And not try to run with the football before it's really theirs to have. And Seidel and Kaminsky certainly seem to have that together. Kaminsky tries to turn the shoulders upfield, now sprints toward the sideline and ushered out of bounds right about midfield. There is a flag back in the secondary, sitting at about the 42-yard line of South Dakota. It's going to be a penalty against the Coyote defense.
Yeah, DeJuan Lewis, I think, held the tight end on the release there.
Yeah, Eden Beheimer was downfield, and those two were jawing a little bit after the play. So
holding, defense number 2, 10-yard penalty added to the end of the run, and an automatic first down.
So they add that to the end of the run from Kaminsky, who had already picked up the first down. You can see number 2 working on Beheimer, and yep, not much doubt about it. Got a full handful of shoulder, the jersey of Beheimer there, and that'll draw a flag very quickly. Takes it down to the 41 of South Dakota. Corey Ty in motion. He'll get it on the jet sweep. Trying to get the edge. Turns it upfield. Ty has a first down. Or just shy of a first down, I should say. At the 32-yard line. Saw a little burst there to number 15, though.
Great blocking on the edge here. You see everybody has a hat, white jersey on red jersey, and created just enough space for him to get upfield fast and almost get the first down.
Ty, a sophomore to Glen Ellen, Illinois. Heads to the sideline, takes a break. Kaminsky keeps it himself, finds some room on the right side. He's going to be cut down by Stewart on the far side. But a first down carry to the 29 of South Dakota, gain of 3 yards.
Very efficient drive so far put together here by the Hawks with both run and short passes, but mainly the run game where they're able to pick up 4 or 5 yards per run, set up by some great blocking up front.
Kaminsky wants to bubble it out. Finds DeMontenac, his 3rd catch of the day, and he's forced out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. But DeMontenac, 2nd in the team in catches and yards coming into the day, and he's been one of the favorite targets again here this afternoon for Kaminsky.
And Kaminsky there with a good ball out in front of DeMontenac so he could catch it on the go. This was one of those plays that Kaminsky had started to struggle with late in his first half, where he was throwing it a little too rushed and not throwing good footballs to put his receivers in position to make good catches.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Seidel. Nowhere to go that time as the football out. South Dakota has the football. DeJuan Lewis picks it up. Lewis inside the 30 to the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, South Dakota.
And almost got caught there, showboating a little bit, taking his foot off the gas before he got to the end zone, but clearly must have been a fumble.
On the field. It's a fumble by the offense. Recovery by the defense, return for a touchdown.
You see Seidel get into the scrum, and the student section actually erupts here at the Dakota Dome, and it's kind of like, well, what's going on?
The ball's out. There's no doubt about that.
And the ball is obviously on the ground for a while, and then you see DeJuan Lewis pick it up.
It's funny how, like, it didn't seem like anybody really was aware initially, and then Lewis just kind of reaches in all calmly and picks up the football, takes it all the way back for the touchdown. And now Leyland, a chance to add the extra point and make this a 19-point game. They're waiting for official confirmation. I think they're going to take another look at this.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, we saw the view. It was clear as day the ball was out. Was a knee down on the recovery will be probably the real question.
That's what they think. There's no
the defensive return for a touchdown.
I don't think there's any question that there's a fumble. We can see that clearly on replay. The ball is clearly out right there. I mean, it was out before he even started to go down to the ground. But
you can't see it at all there. Now Lewis comes in from the
with his knees on the ground. That's the key.
Yeah,
because if he does, they're going to call him down at the point of the recovery.
But I want to see watch too, because I don't think he picks it up until he gets back up.
Yeah, it looks like he gets back up and then grabs
that last view. I think is going to be your best look at it. He did get in there on both knees, but I think he started to stand up before he actually picked the football up, which could be an incredibly heady play if he did it intentionally like that.
I think you can see it on that last look there.
He doesn't have the football till right there.
Yeah. Yep. And then
I think that's pretty clear that it was.
He's up before he actually gets the ball in his hand. So we'll see.
As it stands, it would be an 80-yard fumble return for a touchdown.
And for a team that struggled to get turnovers for a long stretch of this season, they now have 3.
The field is upheld. Touchdown, South Dakota.
And it's always fun to listen to these situations because the sideline gets the word first. Yeah. And so when they start to go nuts, the crowd starts to go nuts. And then the energy changes really quickly. After that review, they uphold the call. It's an 80-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown for Lewis. How about the hustle by Seidel, though, trying to get back in and maybe knock that football away after fumbling himself as Leyland kicks the extra point up and through. But the turnovers have been costly today for North Dakota. 3 of them in total. 2 of them have led to touchdowns for the Coyotes. They now lead 26-7 with 7:11 to play third quarter.
What's so special about lignite coal?
As we told you earlier, it is a special day here at the University of South Dakota. Native American Heritage Game today. And the Coyotes wearing a special helmet with a special logo. The word is Shugamanitu. It's the Lakota word for coyote. And the stripe across the top of the helmet, that represents the 7 council fires, which include the 9 tribal nations here in the state of South Dakota. All the designs were created by Sadie Redwing of the Spirit Lake Dakota tribe. And the translation was done by Jerome Killsmall of the Oglala Lakota tribe.
Yeah, I saw something on
it's a sharp
social
looking
media.
lid. It really is.
With him on there, and he said a couple words. That was kind of a cool deal. I like that. He was very emotional too about the part that this has played for him and his family's legacy.
Just a lot of Native American students in attendance here from middle schools. And obviously there's a good community of Native American people here on the campus at University of South Dakota, and that's a big reason for today's Heritage Game. But 26-7 is your score with 7:11 to go in the third quarter. There's a ton of time left in this football game, but that was a massive play by the USD defense. Not only did they thwart a potential scoring drive for UND, but they take it all the way back and score themselves.
Right.
So you extend it to a 19-point lead. Kaminsky as of now 8 of 14, 103 yards, couple of interceptions on the day, and he goes back to the air finding Corey Ty. And Munn took a big block there from Fleming. Big reaction on the far side, but Ty knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5 yards. And that drive that North Dakota just had put together, Andre, felt a lot like their touchdown drive in terms of how easily they were moving the football down the field. Kind of whatever they wanted to do was working. Boy, a turnover can change that in a hurry, can it?
It really can. I mean, that's what they do for football games.
Looking all the way out on the edge, finds Ty again. He's suddenly become much more active in the offense. He's knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Clock continues to move, or it will on the reset of the chains.
You can see so far Kaminsky's starting to settle down a little bit, not as antsy, throwing the football well so far here in the third quarter.
But it changes the game plan, certainly, being down 19. You need a score, and you need one quick if you're North Dakota. Back to the edge, other side of the field. This time it's Fleming, and Munn is over there to knock him out of bounds. But again, we talked about this. A lot of what Illinois State did last week was these free access throws,
correct,
right? Where you're playing off, you're essentially saying, we'll give you this, right?
We'll
and as a quarters defense with South Dakota, the whole goal is don't get beat over the top, which they did earlier in the game with the big pass play to B.J. Fleming. So South Dakota, you see North Dakota moving side to side, and the fan that's just watching at home is kind of like, well, why are they just giving up so much? That's by design.
Correct.
Xavier Lee is brought down by Roman Tillman. We do have a flag on the far side of the field.
And now coach got a flag, so it's going to be a moot point. One of the assistants just got flagged as well. I think my assumption is maybe they're going to say illegal substitution, because they did run a guy off, and you can't break the huddle with 12. And then it wasn't necessarily called initially. But then with the complaint, the coach is definitely going to get a warning at least.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offsides, defense, South Dakota.
Huh?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, assistant coach, South Dakota. We will enforce both penalties. It'll be first down, North Dakota.
So that's 20 yards of penalties that will be assessed here against USD. And Travis Johansson, he said assistant coach, but it was Johansson that was out there that was so animated, because I think what he saw is North Dakota ran a guy off late.
Right.
And so South Dakota felt like we should have the opportunity to match a substitution.
Correct. And he's still pleading, coach still pleading his case right now to the head ref. But penalties been a big part of this game so far, mainly on North Dakota's play side, but now it's definitely.
So here, watch 32. You see late substitution. Xavier Lee comes in right here. 32 is Langama, runs off late. So they're out of the huddle. So that should be an illegal substitution.
Correct.
Right?
That is correct. And you could see the umpire started to walk up a little bit as if he was going to go stand over the ball to allow for a USD substitution right here in the middle of the screen, but then he just kind of lets it go.
And it really should be the center judge coming up and blocking the possibility of a snap, and that never happened. And so, wow. So, I mean, I understand why Travis Johansson would be upset by that, but the 15-yard penalty that got added on at the end, really not good, because now it's 20 yards in penalties. It moves the football all the way down to the 34-yard line, and now they're going to stop and respot the football from the look of it.
And coach still so fired up, you better be careful he doesn't get another 15-yard penalty.
So after all that, they set the football down at the 33-yard line of South Dakota. It's first down, North Dakota from there. Xavier Lee, or excuse, Langama gets the carry, and boy, you see the elusiveness that young man possesses. You see very quickly what they like about the 5'9", 195-pound freshman from Maple Grove, Minnesota. He's going to be tough to bring down.
Yeah, he got the body of a Valley back, and you see he got the shiftiness too there as he makes the cornerback whiff on the tackle.
Got a similar build to L.J. Phillips.
He does.
Right back to Langama, and he's going to be stood up by Chris Dixon. Yard and a half short of the first down marker. Down to the 25. Under 5 minutes to play, third quarter. Another look at that last run from Langama as Dixon. Niall Dickel's been very active. Saw him in there helping out on the stop again. 3rd and 2. Kaminsky gives it off. Langama met right at the line by Gabe Hardman, who throws him forward. And I think they got enough for the first down. And Hardman quickly up off the field.
Yeah, not sure if something obviously happened. Lost of contact. Something the way he sprinted off. But yeah, good hit in the hole. But Langama with good leg drive. Look at that, just able to still fall forward. That's what we say good backs do, and he gets the first down.
To the 22-yard line, Hardman out of the game. They fake that, and it over the top. Boy, they bent on that fake hard, did South Dakota. Kaminsky, you know, juked like he was going to run it himself, and then went over the top to Sawyer Seidel, and he was wide open. This might be a walk-in touchdown if Kaminsky puts it on him. But that's been the struggle today. He hasn't been putting it on a whole lot of guys.
Exactly, and he had started off the quarter doing a very good job of that, but then on that particular one, got a little bit excited, I think, because of how open Seidel was, and as you said, would have easily walked in. but puts it too high.
Fleming, the man in motion. 2nd and 10. Kaminsky stepping up, looking toward the end zone. Ty trying to get underneath it, but it sails out of the end zone. Incomplete. Good coverage down there. Mikey Munn in the area. Roman Tillman also in the vicinity for South Dakota. And that'll be 3rd and 10 now. Gabe Hartman back out of the field in place of Wade Abrams.
Big down here. You expect them to maybe kick it if they don't get it.
Keep it on the ground with Seidel. Seidel trying to get forward, and he's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. Just inside the 15-yard line, and now we've got more flags after the play again. 4 or 5 flags. Everybody throwing flags down there.
Yeah, and you know, I think what's going to happen here too, which is going to sound unfortunate, is that Dewan Lewis is going to get the flag because he was flailing around down there and kind of kicking and moving. But I think, you know, from the way he stopped and laid down, it was maybe because he was hurt, but they were throwing the flags anyway because of his movements. So we'll see what happens here. Either they'll keep the penalties or maybe they'll pick him up because he was injured or acting like he was injured at least.
It was pretty hot, though, coming up off the field. Had something to say to Seidel. Is that some rivalry feel to it with some of the chippiness today?
It's very, very chippy.
Big conference
some
down there.
Some big hits, too, early especially.
The 13-yard line. Let's see if we can see what happened here. I mean, Seidel's continuing to try and lunge forward, and then Lewis trying to get up. I'm not sure what was happening there.
There are 2 dead ball fouls on the play. Dead ball and sportsmanlike conduct on defense number 2. Dead ball and sportsmanlike conduct number 63 on North Dakota. Those fouls will offset. It's 4th down.
Yep, I agree with that, the way they called that and the way they handled it.
Let's see if we can see 63. He's right here in the middle of the screen.
This is both players' first unsportsmanlike conduct.
I don't know what was going on at the bottom between Seidel and Lewis. That's what started it. 63 to me
just
is kind of an innocent bindstance. They're just trying to separate him from his ball carry. I don't know. It looks like maybe the Seidel have a hold of his foot there.
Probably, and maybe was, you know, he was probably getting the business and giving the business at the same time.
They'll keep the offense on the field. 4th and 2. Kaminsky takes the snap. Nope, gonna roll right. Dumps it over the top. Fleming makes the catch, gets just enough for the first down at the 11-yard line.
And in this particular case, great call, but USD was all over it. However, great individual effort, makes the catch, and then fights for the first down. So it's a good job of execution there. Boom, they make the catch, and then still is able to get enough yardage to get the first by B.J. Fleming.
Remember, Illinois State was 3 for 3 on 4th down last week. North Dakota picks up a big one there to keep the drive alive. Kaminsky to the end zone. Touchdown, North Dakota.
It was only a matter of time before that great blocking was going to create this type of opportunity. We've seen it so far in this half. The green helmets just putting bodies on bodies in space. The receivers, the tight ends, the running back, getting to the linebackers and the DBs and making good solid blocks that allows Kaminsky to essentially walk in for the Hawks touchdown.
The 6th rushing touchdown of the season for Jerry Kaminsky. And now Ken Loffman on for the extra point, and flags before the snap. We have seen a lot of laundry today.
We really have. It's becoming a thing in this game. $16 penalties, 134 yards.
Defense number 12. Disconcerting signals to simulate snap count. Half the distance to the goal. Will replay the try.
Disconcerting signals. Not one you see real often, but Mikey Munn is the guilty party. tough to.
Must have said hut, you know, something like that. That's all I can think of.
We've had some interesting penalties. Not only the volume of penalties, but some interesting penalties today. As Loftman on for the extra point now. And the kick is up, and the kick is good. So a important touchdown for North Dakota. Jerry Kaminsky taking it in for an 11-yard touchdown run. And the Fighting Hawks back within 12 now at 26-14. Take another look at it. 11 plays, 75 yards in 4 minutes, 23 seconds. Get 20 yards and penalties on that one play assessed against South Dakota. Certainly helped.
Exactly.
Big fourth down conversion. The catch there by Fleming. Good extra effort to make sure he had it. And then Kaminsky finishes it off right here. Again, his sixth rushing touchdown of the season. To make it 26-14 with 2:48 to play in the third quarter. Still a lot of ball game left. And that was much needed there for North Dakota, which now has somehow taken over the lead in total offense. It feels very different with the way this game has gone. 260 to 248 in favor of the Fighting Hawks at this point, but that's largely because they've had 2 75-yard scoring drives.
Right, exactly. And Kaminsky settled down here in this quarter, minus the one. He got a little excited and overthrew Seidel. He's thrown the ball very well here after he hadn't done so in the second quarter of this game.
So South Dakota will take over at their own 25 yards, but another good day for LJ Phillips. Just part of a great season for this young man. Over 1,190 yards. This was coming into the day. First in the Valley, second in FCS. First in the Valley in attempts, tied for third in rushing touchdowns. He's added to that total as well. So far today, 19 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown for LJ Phillips, who got the starting gig because of injury. Again to the All-American Charles Pierre Jr., who was hurt in the loss at Lamar early in the season. And Phillips really knocking on a door of a 100-yard effort here today as he's out to the 33-yard line and a gain of 8.
Right on cue, just downhill. This is a lot of what he does is just downhill running, hits the hole hard, or the ability to find the cutback lanes as he takes a break here after this particular run. But the ability to find cutback lanes and still pick up positive yards after contact.
So Bauman with Carson Fletcher, the deep man, in the pistol formation. Youngster gets the football. Left side and goes. And Fletcher steps out of a tackle. Still moving forward. Got another yard or two because of it. First out, Coyotes.
And that's, you know, this is what you want. We talked in previous games about the running back room, and Coach Dante Warren, the running backs coach, been here a long time, has done a really good job in recruiting where you can lose an All-American like Charles Pierre and not miss a beat with LJ Phillips, the second guy, and then that allows then the third and the fourth guy to have to develop quickly, and they've done that as well. As you see, Fletcher and Reed both making contributions in the run game.
Ball to the 37-yard line. Phillips and Fletcher both in the game now. Fake the give to Phillips, and now Rucker brings down Bauman, the third sack of the day for North Dakota.
And, you know, Bauman hadn't been sacked a ton, but North Dakota's doing a good job with that stand-up linebacker slash D-end, that hybrid position that they have in their 4-2-5 defense. Rucker just bending the corner and not giving up until he gets Bauman on the ground.
Beat Brendan Crisp, who's out there in place of Elmarian Krim, the starting left tackle. Not sure what happened to Krim, but Crisp beat that time. It's a loss of 5 yards and second and 15. Now Fletcher being called across the formation by Bauman. They didn't get that play off, but they let him go anyway. Martins makes the catch, spins forward, back to the original line of scrimmage at the 37-yard line on what could be the final play of the third quarter.
It was a slow developing play. They obviously weren't in the right formation initially, and like you mentioned, they seemed like they barely got it off. if they actually did, as you mentioned, but be able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And that will do it for the third quarter. 45 minutes in, 15 to go here in Vermillion. The 103rd meeting all time between North Dakota and South Dakota. 26-14 Coyotes after 3. For USD.
Yep, that's it. That's the difference in your score right there. Those 3 turnovers. And if you're the Hawks, that's what you're telling them is like, hey, keep the ball, keep doing what we're doing, but don't turn it over and don't get penalties.
Bauman finds Miller, but he got just a couple of yards, maybe only 1 as a matter of fact, and that will bring up a punting situation here for South Dakota to start the fourth quarter. Tyler Ebel, just his 2nd punt of the afternoon coming up. Zach Lewis will be the deep man for the Fighting Hawks. Ebel averaging over 45 yards per punt so far this season. You know they'd love to see one of those bombs right now. It's going to be a high kick. Lewis underneath it, does not call fair catch. Good blocking. Lewis has some room. Lewis finally stood up at the 40-yard line. Great return from Lewis and a much better field position situation for Jerry Kaminsky and the Fighting Hawks as they get set to take over with 14:05 to play. A couple of good returns today. One in kick return, now one in punt return for the Fighting Hawks.
And granted, there's been penalties, but you can't say enough about how well there's been blocking in space. As you see there, you just see hats on hats, the white jerseys on a red jersey, and they're just creating enough space for the runners to have free lanes.
North Dakota's moved the football very effectively in this second half when they've had it. Sawyer Seidel. Hole plugs up quickly, and Seidel brought down after a gain of just a couple. You see the officials talking to Lewis, who had something to say to Seidel after that tackle. He hasn't forgotten about what happened a little bit ago.
Yeah,
apparently.
like you mentioned, that's rivalry action right there. You can tell that there's some tension going on in this ball game right from the start.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Kaminsky, short drop, looking over the middle, finds Ty. Ty into USD territory, tackled down by Nate Ewell. Gabe Hardman was in the area as well. They'll give him the 44-yard line to the Coyotes. But North Dakota's moved the football very well here in the second half, Andre, and they're moving it again now.
He's throwing the ball well. He went to the halftime and got it figured out. And like I say, he's been throwing the ball well this second half. Even with a little bit of pressure, he's still been able to put the ball into the spot where the receiver can make the catch safely.
Kaminsky checks with the sideline. Now ready to go on 1st and 10. Pitches right. Here goes Seidel, turning it up. Nowhere to go. Matt Walsh, who had the interception just before the half, gets him down at the 41-yard line. Limits that to a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, and Dixon too, coming down the line of scrimmage from his defensive tackle position, able to lay a little lumber. That's a real big man versus a little man.
Gonna look at Matt Walsh, who's waited for his opportunity and certainly seized it here in his senior season. Senior out of Evergreen Park, Illinois. Seidel turns it upfield, has some blocking. Seidel into the open space, through a tackle, into the end zone, touchdown, North Dakota.
It got into the hole. We mentioned it. He's a little guy, and he's fast. So when he gets into the hole with some space, he's going to burst through. He gets to the second level, and then you can see some of the power in the legs, the ability to make guys miss tackles. Get a missed tackle right there, and keeps his balance and gets into the end zone. A lot of ball game left here, folks.
Brand new ball game. He stepped through what? 3-4 tackles on that particular play. Did Sawyer Seidel, his second rushing touchdown of the day. And it's a big one because it makes it a one-score game regardless of the extra point from Loftman. But he gets it up and through, and it's 26-21. 12:07 to play here at the Dakota Dome. The Fighting Hawks right back in it on the road.
Every decision on the farm matters. That's why ProSeed created the Right Choice program. It's about more than seed. It's about making sure you're getting the right advice, the right seed, and the right results. When you add it all up, there's only one answer: the right choice. Buy your favorite high-yielding ProSeed varieties and earn great rewards. Find a dealer near you. Need seed? Think ProSeed. Online at proseed.net.
Whether you're looking for fast service or maybe you're looking to refresh the look of your home, if this is you, then today the PS stands for professional service. We've installed and serviced garage doors for all applications from commercial, residential to agricultural. That, along with our 24/7 emergency service, PS Garage Doors is your local full-service garage door store with over 50 years of experience. Give us a call today. PS Garage Doors, your garage door store since 1974, where we do garage doors and more.
United Valley Bank's initials are UVB, and that B is a verb that helps people just like you succeed. UVB amazing, with the support of our powerful financial tools, friendly bankers, and local decision makers. UVB adventurous. UVB the best version of you.
It's all about you. United Valley Bank, our roots make us stronger.
Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
All right, 12:07 to go What do they say, Andre? Brand new game. That's what we've got here. After that 41-yard touchdown run from Sawyer Seidel. And the thing is North Dakota, they got the good punt return up to about the 40 yards, so they had a shorter field to work with. But they did all that in less than 3 minutes coming off the clock. And so that's excellent news if you're Eric Schmidt and UND.
Absolutely. Get back into rhythm and do it quickly.
Coyotes let this kickoff sail into the end zone, and they'll bring it out to the 25
on the field.
And start with it there when we come back. Again, 26-21, Coyotes on top. At Ralph Engelstead Arena in Grand Forks. Game 2 of the series between Minnesota Duluth and North Dakota. The Bulldogs got last night's 4-3 in overtime. So the Fighting Hawks trying to salvage a split tonight at home. 6 o'clock puck drops tonight on Midco Sports. Aiden Bauman and company leading the football Fighting Hawks 26-21 with 12:07 to go. Coyotes take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Going to get a face mask call here against North Dakota, I believe, as LJ Phillips lunges out to the 30-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 98. 15 yards at the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Demontre Samuels-Parker, the defensive tackle. Keep an eye on the, oh yeah, no doubt about that one. Phillips had ripped all the way around on that as Samuels-Parker was just trying to fight through a block to slow down the Coyote running back, but Coyotes will take that 15 yards right now and move it out to the 45-yard line. 1st and 10 there. Phillips now 2 yards shy of a 100-yard effort. Bauman back to pass, taking a shot. Oh boy, blew it. I don't think there's much doubt about that one.
Yeah, and you know, this is actually
a good penalty,
yes,
right?
By that young man. He was clearly beat, and he just reaches out and tackles him, save the 7, and take the 15 yards.
I mean, that's one you will take if you're Eric Schmidt, just because of, hey, it's better than 6.
Yep.
There's
Pass
no
interference.
doubt.
Defense number 22. 15 yards from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
So the Coyotes just picked up 30 yards in free yards right, by way of the North Dakota penalties, but this is the most obvious pass interference call you're going to say. I mean, blew it literally. He had a hold of the shirt of Lorenzo Fenner. And then when he almost lost that, then he just flat out tackled him.
Yeah, he's like,
but again,
I'm not
intelligent
giving it up.
Awareness play by the defensive back, because now the football stays at the 40-yard line for the time being. Bauman out to the edge. Martins gets a defender to swoop on by. That was Avery Scott, who took out one of the officials in the process.
Yeah, Avery Scott smoked that official.
Martins got a couple extra yards.
Man, the official with the
Oh, that could have been not great.
Yeah.
With where he got hit there, that was the head linesman.
Yep, he's good. Double thumbs up. Says,
like,
let's go.
Don't worry
We're
about
good.
me, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. I like
Football
it.
guy. Football guy. That's what that
go.
is. So it's a gain of 6. Or gain of 4, rather. 4 Martins. They spotted at the 41-yard line. That's Miller, the tight end, in motion. Bauman gives off to Phillips, trying to follow that blocker through, and he got a yard and no more.
Yeah, nothing doing there. Couldn't bounce it outside. There was a defender there, tried to just force his way into the hole, but nothing really in there either. Only a 1-yard gain.
Carson Fletcher comes into the game. As Phillips heads toward the sideline. So Fletcher will be the running back on a critical 3rd down here for both sides. Coyotes need the 30-yard line of North Dakota to move the chains. Bauman chased down he goes. 4th sack of the day for North Dakota, and this is the biggest one yet. Lance Rucker, first on scene for the Fighting Hawks. This has been something that this group has done all year, Andre. They get to the quarterback. Came into the day with 23 sacks on the season. They're up to 27 now. They're 10th best in the FCS, at least coming into the day. And they have certainly improved their standing with the effort this afternoon.
Rucker, I know for a fact that's 2. He might have 3 of those sacks today.
So now big kick here from Tyler Ebel, end over end. Couple of people got together there, and a flag comes in. It'll be interesting to see. Lewis, is he going to get called for something here? Because that ball was going over, and then he made contact with the defender, and the defender went down. And Jaden Brown it looks like their feet literally just got tangled up there. Lewis was looking up. Brown was already moving past him. He knew the football was going over the top. This is a big call.
Well, and yeah, and it'd be interesting to see, because you can't really, I think from that action, I think it was too early to potentially call this kick-catch interference. But I've seen other things happen. So a long conversation here. I think it would be an incidental contact.
This is going to be, if it stands, our 20th penalty
Kick-catch
of the day.
interference on the kicking team, number
boy.
21. 15 yards added from the end of the kick. First down, North Dakota.
That's a tough one.
Well, and so is it from where the kick was?
He said from the end of the play.
They're looking at this. It looks like they're spotting it at the foul, which wouldn't be correct because the ball was recovered at the 1. North Dakota's hoping that they can get a re-kick.
So they're enforcing it from where the contact was made, not the end of the play. But it's a 15-yard penalty, so instead of being way back at their own end, North Dakota has a little bit more breathing room here out to the 26-yard line. Again, the 20th penalty that has been assessed on the day, 10 on each side.
That's crazy. And if the Hawks have over 100 yards in penalties, which equates to basically giving a team a touchdown, right? You're giving them 100 yards in penalty, that's a touchdown.
Aside from that fumble recovery that was returned 80 yards for a touchdown, USD does not really have a stop defensively in this second half. They need one now as Niall Dickel gets over to Kaminsky, brings him down after a short gain.
And they did a good job there of actually getting in space and flashing in front of him. So far in this second half, North Dakota has done a great job of having everybody blocked, and in that particular case, there were some free players from the Yotes that were in his face, and then, of course, able to get him down.
Low snap, Seidel gets the carry, falls forward out to about the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and medium for the Fighting Hawks as the clock continues to tick down around 9 minutes to play in the ball game.
Again, just a good job of USD getting free bodies into the gaps and giving the runners nowhere to go. Prior into this series, we really hadn't seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of North Dakota with great blocking, creating lanes for their runners.
North Dakota facing 3rd and 6. They're 4 of 7 on 3rd down so far today. Kaminsky back to pass. Pressure coming from Crawford. Wide open along the edge. That's Mason South, the tight end. Bounces off a tackler, and South is all the way out to midfield.
And as a former defensive player and defensive coach, it just really angers me to see Matt Walsh come up and lay the hit and not wrap up. Like, you got to wrap up and get him on the ground. He had the potential there to have him stopped for a first down. Instead, you just try to deliver a big shot to a big man himself who just absorbs it and keeps going.
Yeah, South 6'2", 245 pounds. Just his 6th catch of the season, and it's a big one. First down out to the 48-yard line of North Dakota. Seidel tripped up just across midfield. They're going to give him the 49-yard line. Seidel knocking on the door of a 4th straight 100-yard effort. 20 for 114 against Youngstown, 14 for 108 against Southern Illinois, 14 for 104 against Indiana State last week. And he's at 13 for, I believe, 95 as of now.
Seems like he's going to get that average.
Kaminsky wide open. There's Ty. Ty's been a huge part of the plan here in the second half, and he's made the most of those opportunities down to the 40-yard and a first down.
And what'd you call it? You know, free access plays. Again, just taking advantage of those, finding space in the zone coverage, quick 5-yard pass, and since they're giving them up, the Hawks are taking them and moving right down the field.
Down to the 40-yard line, 1st and 10 there. 7 minutes to play in the ball game. Kaminsky back to pass, pressure coming, steps up. There's Ty again, gets out of a tackle, spins forward down to the 30-yard line. Looks like they're going to spot him just short of another first down.
And this was just a great scheme because he was being guarded by Matt Walsh, the outside linebacker, and that's of course a mismatch. There's no way that Matt Walsh is going to stay with Ty in the open field. So Ty able to make the catch and almost get the first down.
4th catch of this ball game for Ty. All of that has come since halftime. North Dakota knocking on the door here. 2nd and 1 from the 30-yard line of South Dakota. Kaminsky end around. It goes to Fleming. Nate Ewell giving chase, can't catch him, and Fleming steps out of bounds after picking up first down yardage inside the 30.
And to me, it's such an iffy call because you're hoping to get him caught off guard, right? Expecting everything to be in the middle. But when they're not, now you're so far behind the line of scrimmage, and you only needed 1 yard, right? But in this case, it's a good job by Fleming actually outrunning the defense and still picking up that first.
Fleming, the transfer from Northern Arizona, saw the big pass catch in the first half that helped set up the first touchdown of the day for North Dakota. Big 3rd down conversion there. And now Seidel, or 2nd down conversion rather, is Seidel on 1st down. Minimal gain, maybe a yard. Nate Ewell on the stop again. North Dakota consuming a little bit more clock on this drive.
Yeah, and as we creep toward, 5 minutes left in the game, it's one of those things. You do take your time because you figure if you get the touchdown here, and it's 4-down territory, make no mistake about it, you're not kicking any field goals. You're going for touchdowns. But if you can do it and leave as little time on the clock as possible, that's the ideal situation.
South Dakota matching substitution late here. Niall Dickel on in place of Nathan LePerry. Kaminsky on 2nd and 10. Keeps it. Turns up, lost his footing, and tumbles down after a couple of yards.
Yeah, and he lost his footing because he was being pursued there by Niall Dickel, who did a good job of not being fooled on the play and putting that pursuit on him so that he would have to maybe slip up.
Another big 3rd down here. North Dakota needs the 19 of South Dakota. Kaminsky back to pass. Looking over the middle. South is there, but what a play by Gabe Hartman to break it up.
Yeah, it's a good job with Gabe Hartman playing his inner DB skills right there with the left-hand swipe as he comes over, makes the break on there. Left hand swiping at the football, knocks it out of the hands of the big tight end South.
So North Dakota's kicking situation is a little different this week. C.J. Elrich, their normal place kicker, is missing his second straight game with an injury. Loftman is not going to get the opportunity from deep here. And so it's 4th down, 8 yards to go for Jerry Kaminsky and the Fighting Hawks. Kaminsky looking for Fleming, and it's incomplete.
And there's the stop you said that the Coyote defense needed to have. Comes at a very crucial point in the ball game here in Coyote territory, under 5 minutes to go. They get the errant throw from Kaminsky, who had minimal pressure in his face. He really just didn't step into this one very well, and we've seen him do that occasionally. He had been so efficient since the start of the half, but on that particular throw, not a good ball, and it sets the Coyote offense out.
Should be a good look at it here as Kaminsky just missed it. Fleming was there. He puts that on him. It's a first down for sure.
And inside the 10 at that.
Yeah, found it. I mean, he settled in right among 4 defenders, but he had plenty of room all the way around him. So now a big drive for Aiden Bauman and the offense. They take over 1st and 10 with 4:28 to go. L.J. Phillips out to the 30-yard line, and Phillips officially up over 100 yards for the 6th time this season.
Yeah, you can expect at least another run here.
23 carries, 101 yards for L.J. Phillips Jr., who ran for 301 in his first start against Northern Colorado, ran for 244 against Murray State, 187 against Indiana State. Had a 100-yard day last week against Illinois State as well. Takes the pitch. Phillips off the left side. Brought down shy of the 35-yard line. But 3rd and short coming up here with under 3.5 to go. Good tackle. Zach Lewis has been everywhere today defensively. You can see why they've been so excited about the addition of that young man. We talked about Fleming coming from Northern Arizona. So did Zach Lewis.
It's a long way to go from Northern Arizona to Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Well,
welcome to winter.
Is a native of Chandler, Arizona. The 2nd team All Big Sky selection in 2024 for the Lumberjacks. 3rd and 3. Bauman drops it off. Phillips needs the first down. He's got it. I believe he's got it.
They're going to call him a little short.
They're actually going to say he's short. Yep. Yeah, you're right. I thought when he got forward, he got enough. And I think Eric Schmidt wants to use a timeout here with 2:42 to go.
Timeout, North Dakota. Their second charge timeout.
Great tackle in space there on the running back.
And a great job of having his legs wrapped up to where he can't lunge his upper body forward to get the first down.
Timeout on the field.
We will step aside. 2:42 to play. Still a 5-point game here in Vermillion.
What's so...
accidental that time. It looked like he meant to light him up.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Ball lands at the 6. You go and catch it and set him up inside the 10-yard line. Like, obviously, you'll find out later in the week when you talk to Coach Johansson, but that was not a smart move by that young man at all.
They put the ball all the way up at the 34-yard line. 15 yards, so 34-yard line.
25 yards of field position of where it could potentially have been because it landed at the 6, right?
And 30 yards in the last 2 possessions for North Dakota, because remember, they had the kick catch interference last time.
Right.
Instead of taking over at the 1, they took over out around the 25-yard line. So big drive here, 2:33 to go. Kaminsky keeps it. Stood up and brought down heavy by Nate Ewell at the 41-yard line, and Kaminsky is feeling that one.
Yeah, a little slow to get up for obvious reasons. It's what you subject yourself to as a runner. Boom.
Shades of WWE a little bit on that one from Nate Ewell. Kaminsky looks okay, but this is going to take us to the 2-minute timeout, which
this is the 2-minute timeout.
A well-welcomed break for Jerry Kaminsky after that shot he took from Nate Ewell. We step away one more time. 26-21. South Dakota with the lead. North Dakota with the football when you come back. (26-21) with 120 seconds remaining. North Dakota one timeout to work with, trailing 26-21. 2nd and 3 from their own 40-yard line. Up the middle it goes. Seidel falls forward. They're going to mark him well shy of the first down. I thought with the fall, he might maybe get another yard, but they're going to say it's more like the 42.5-yard line, so it'll still be 3rd and a long one, short 2.
Yeah, 1.5 maybe.
Kaminsky keeps it, finds some room, runs out of bounds just across, or right at midfield, I should say. That stops the clock with 1:27 remaining. And North Dakota has to get into the end zone here. A field goal does nothing. And they only have one timeout. USD does have all 3 of its timeouts to work with, should they need them.
So you're telling your safeties, nothing behind you. We don't want to give up anything over the top, but we do want to make tackles, and if possible, tackle them inbound so they can start to chip away at those.
Kaminsky shot downfield. Corey Ty and Mikey Munn almost made an incredible play.
So as I'm saying, nobody behind you. Ty gets behind Munn, but Munn able to use that athleticism to come up and make a huge play for the Coyote defense. He's beat, but goes up high, points it, and just can't bring in the interception.
The ball just a touch underthrown, I think, too, from Kaminsky, allowed Munn to get back in that play. If it's over the shoulder or tie, that's a touchdown.
And that's twice that Munn's been in that scenario in this game. He had another one to Dennis in the beginning of the first half where he should have thrown it a little further out, but he threw it short.
2nd and 10, Kaminsky looking for Fleming. Cannot hang on. Broken up by Ruley and Stewart.
Good job by Stewart, just continuing to fight. Yeah, Fleming did not have possession. He was bobbling it. It got into his hands, but because Stewart was swiping and pulling and grabbing, he couldn't corral the catch all the way through the ground.
Obviously 4-down territory regardless, but it's 3rd and 10. Fleming, top of the screen, covered up by Munn. Pressure coming. Kaminsky hit as he throws, and it is incomplete. Matt Walsh put the pressure on the quarterback.
So it's a delayed blitz. He comes from his depth. He comes from the linebacker position. So he didn't creep up to the line and show like he was blitzing. And then he started from his linebacker position, takes off late. And that's why Kaminsky had no idea he was coming up behind him.
So this could be the ball game right here. 4th and 10 for North Dakota. They've got to get to the 40-yard line of South Dakota.
Obviously, South Dakota's going to be in a zone on the back end, but do they bring extra pressure up front? They do.
Kaminsky looking over the top. Fleming is there. Good coverage by Stewart, and the pass is incomplete. That's a turnover on downs.
And even if there had been some hands, because I know the Fighting Hawk fans are probably saying, well, where's the penalty there? He had run himself out of bounds. The referee throws his hat, which indicates that the receiver ran out of bounds, meaning he could not have even been the first person to come back in and touch it. So it would have been a moot point.
Takes him out of the play entirely at that point, yeah. But good coverage there by Ruley and Stewart, who had the pick back in the first half. Coyotes weren't able to turn that into points. But one of his best days in a Coyote uniform for sure. And Aiden Bauman and company come out in victory formation. North Dakota has one timeout. But it looks like Eric Schmidt is going to keep it in his pocket.
Or you wait after 3rd down and burn it, but
Coyotes aren't going to need that because the play clock allows them to run this thing out. And Bauman going to milk it for all he can here. Takes a knee, and that should be enough.
Yep.
Eric Schmidt makes his way over across the field to meet Travis Johansson, and South Dakota has far and away the biggest win of his tenure here as head coach. 26-21 over the number 8 team in the country.
Yeah, and it's a big win if you're the Coyotes. We mentioned in the pregame that this is a playoff game, playoffs, you know, for the Coyotes in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. And so to win against a top 10 opponent and do it in the fashion that you did as it gets a little chippy. We mentioned this is a big rivalry. And you just hope the guys aren't stupid enough to make some kind of a mistake that'll affect them next week. But huge win for Travis Johansson and the Coyotes getting this one today, keeping their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, both of these teams, huge games next week, playing their intra-state rivals. North Dakota hosting North Dakota State. South Dakota will host South Dakota State here in Vermillion. But today it was all about the Coyotes and the Fighting Hawks. And South Dakota gets a big win here at home. 26-21 is the final. We'll hear from the Coyotes when we come back. That's that.
Show, presented by Sanford Health. Here for all, here for good.
All right, well, we said it at the beginning of the show today, Andre. Everything here on out was a must-win for South Dakota, and they got the first one out of the way. 26-21, the final today over number 8 North Dakota. We bring in the starting quarterback for the Coyotes now, Aiden Bauman. And Aiden, I know it's been a season of some ups and downs for you and your program. Today, though, you got the job done in a must-win scenario. How does it feel?
I'm not gonna lie, it makes me a little bit emotional. I'm honestly holding back a little bit of tears right now. I'm beyond proud of this team. Like you said, it's do or die for us right now. You know, this is my last year here. A lot of guys last year here, and to fight the way we did today, it's special. You know, Coach said it before the game. We find a way when our backs are against the wall, and we did today. I'm so proud of this team.
Hey, so what was different in the end? What was the difference that allowed you guys to get this done, a full 60-minute game?
Yeah, I mean, offensively we can still be better, but we finally finished in the red zone a few times, got it in the end zone, which was huge. But a massive shout out to our defense today. They came with their hair on fire. They played an unbelievable game. Obviously, they technically had the game-winning score if you really think about it. So to see them play the way they did today was awesome.
Well, the last one I'll hit you with, obviously you want to enjoy this one. There's another big one coming up next week against South Dakota State. Are you going to allow yourself to start thinking about that, or is it all about what just happened today for now?
Yeah, I think you play this game to enjoy it. You play it to have fun. So I got to enjoy this with my brothers for sure today. But we're going to be ready for next week for sure.
All right, congrats on the win, Aiden. Appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, what an effort today, honestly. And ultimately, North Dakota was moving the football very effectively in that second half, Andre. But when the defense had to have a couple of stops late in the game, they figured out how to get them.
Yeah, they did. Exactly. There was the one drive right there at the end where they were able to get the stop. And they really hadn't, as you mentioned, stopped them up until that point. But throughout the entire game, they were really the difference. He spoke on it. 3 turnovers. You know, they had the score. You had the special teams plays. So that was the difference. Remember, it's all 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams. And today it was really a lot of defense, special teams that helped propel the offense to this win.
All right, let's get the thoughts of the head coach now, Travis Johansson, joining us down on the field. Travis, certainly the biggest win of your tenure here as head coach. How you feeling right now with what you saw from your team today?
Yeah, really good. It was unbelievable to get production out of all 3 units, big plays in all 3 units. You know, when you can put it together like that against a good football team, you know, you build a lot of confidence in the building that, you know, what they're doing, even as hard as it's been, is headed in the right direction. Their backs were against the wall and their best came out.
Well, obviously, this is an explosive North Dakota offense. We've seen them pile up points, pile up yardage on teams all year. You guys seem to have a lot of things figured out with how to defend them today. What can you say about your defense, especially at the end there when they were moving the football pretty effectively in that second half to be able to find the stops when you really had to have them?
Yeah, really resilient group. You know, I'm proud of Coach Kirch and that staff. You know, a lot of games, you know, I get involved at the end of the game trying to, you know, put my 2 cents in to call it. I stepped back today, and he dialed it up on them guys, man. It was fun to watch him close it out like that with confidence after a couple scores as things got tight, and that's the brand of football we're used to playing on defense around here.
Well, lastly, we talked about it earlier this week. You said it yourself, is must win from here on out. You knew that. You had to get this one. You did that. Big one coming up next week, obviously, against South Dakota State. How do you keep this thing rolling and keep your season alive?
We'll keep doing what we're doing. You know, there's nothing that's going to change about what we do, who the opponent is, our process. Our guys are completely 100% and going through it the right way. And, you know, we're still getting better. You know, we really are. It's crazy to think that at 6-4 this late in the year. But, you know, we're watching so many new guys out there. Proud of our O tackles, 2 young guys out there today, defending getting a good, you know, scoring opportunities over and over. Great momentum on offense. We're proud of those guys.
All right, enjoy, Travis. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it, Jay.
All right, well, what a win, certainly for him. You know he's feeling good. Coaches are never going to let you really feel how good they're feeling about something. But he said it, you said it. All 3 phases contributed to this and what ultimately was the biggest win of the season far and away for this team.
Easily. I mean, a top 10 opponent here at your place, and you do it going away. Like I said, they really played a solid football game in all the phases. Obviously, there's always going to be things that you can fix. We'll look at the turnovers. We'll look at the penalties. They'll look at maybe some of the lack of plays that should have been made offensively. But overall, this was a huge win. It's a huge confidence booster, too, as you go into the finishing of this season.
No doubt. All right, let's take a look at the second half highlights. And again, South Dakota had the lead at the half. And the defense, picks up where the offense left off. The fumble from Sawyer Seidel. Ball was rolling around there for a long time. Then DeJuan Lewis suddenly comes away with it, takes it back 80 yards for the touchdown.
And whether he knew it or not, it was a lot of great awareness to be on your feet when you picked up the football so that you could have a return.
All right, Jerry Kaminsky, he was a little rattled, it seemed, in that first half. He really settled in, played some good football in the second half.
He did. He threw the ball really well, and that's what really kept them and got them back into this game. There was a couple throws late, especially with basically their fourth down play, where he kind of, again, got a little excited and threw a bad ball. But overall, I think he played a good second half.
Sawyer Seidel does what he had been doing. 4 straight 100-yard games. Now, first running back to reach 100 yards against South Dakota's defense since 2023.
Wow, that's impressive, especially when you consider he's 175, but plays way bigger than his frame.
But again, down the stretch, couple of opportunities for North Dakota to get that game-winning score, down 5. The defense, though, found the plays that had to be made, and they got off the field.
And that's, again, going to be the confidence booster going forward, is when you needed to make the plays, you made them. And they went several games without turnovers. And here today against the 8th-ranked team, you get 3 of them, and you also get a score. So the defense is going to be feeling really good today about their performance.
Again, you look at the numbers. North Dakota leads in total offense. Part of that, again, is because of the defensive score. South Dakota loses an opportunity on offense. Good day on third down for North Dakota, finishing 6 of 11. They've been good on that down all year. Penalties, though, we said it at halftime. Yes. They continued to be a little bit of a problem. It evened out a little bit in that second half because South Dakota made some of those critical mistakes penalty-wise as well. But bottom line, 3 turnovers on the road. It's going to be really tough to get a win.
I mean, 3 turnovers, 10 penalties for over 100 yards, which I always say equates to a score, right? Those are the types of things that you're going to dial in on and say, this is why we didn't get the win. Now, as far as getting the confidence back, though, you can say, hey, we cleaned these things up, fellas, and we only lost 5 away to a really good football team in South Dakota. So there's still a lot that they can also build on moving forward as well.
Yeah, North Dakota falls to 6-3 on the year now, 4-1 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference with the Bison coming to town next week. South Dakota now 6-4 on the year, 4-2 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Thanks to a 26-21 win over the number 8 team in FCS football, the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. They will host South Dakota State here at the Dakota Dome next Saturday afternoon. For Andre Fields, our entire Midco Sports crew, I'm Jay Elson. Thanks for watching Valley Football with us on Midco Sports.
We now join the following program already in progress.